It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All righty, welcome back aboard. Happy to have you, Rothman and Ice. Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes to my right, the loose cannon at the controls. Boys, how we feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling pretty good. How are you, my man? You good?
I am outstanding. We got a nice show for you today.
Ice, good to see you.
Good to see you, too,
Very good to see you.
My guy.
Absolutely.
My dog right there, Tress.
Oh, my goodness. That is going to be, I don't know, I'm kind of hoping that the mystery kind of continues. It's just the way it is. Like that story, If you want it to live in infamy, you want it to. And so if we kind of ruin it, but we'll always have it. And we thank Cole for unearthing that gem from a couple of years ago. All right, so we've got a lot to do today, as always. We've got the Cavs in a hole and people getting called out. We've got the never-ending debate that we will get to based on the championship versus the arch rival and the game. We'll have a former Buckeye and Matt Fininkis get his take. The sack master from the 90s will jump on at 1 o'clock. Ari Wasserman will talk college football. The quarterback, the year of the quarterback, is it really? We'll have him on at 1:30. And Gold Jacket Thursday, as I previewed on Bishop and Friends, Jan Stenerude. Jan Stenerude, my man Cole is going to get a real education. And this is no knock on anybody not being around when he was doing his thing. I just feel like the story in itself is amazing. And Jan Stenerude was a guy that grew up in Norway. Remember, we had Morten Andersen on for Gold Jacket Thursday. He was a kid from Denmark who came over, hadn't kicked a football. A lot of those guys have soccer backgrounds. Guys that grew up like Jan Stenerude, grew up in like Scandinavia. And, you know, I was always drawn to the tennis guys from Sweden. Borg, Vilander, Edberg, Jared, all those guys were like the coolest dudes I'd ever seen. And he grew up in Norway, and everybody skied. He dreamed to be a ski jumper. And there was a very famous ski jumper. Have you guys seen the movie about Eddie the Eagle?
No.
It's really good. You guys have not, about the kid who from Britain who wanted to be a ski jumper.
No, and Eddie the Eagle. No, I don't know.
Oh yeah, you have to see it. It's I wonder, the movie is called the movie is called Eddie the Eagle. And I think you'd actually like it. It's a cute movie. It's a true story about this kid from a British kid who travels to Germany to kind of test his skills at ski jumping. He's not very good. He didn't grow up really doing it, but he had a dream of doing it.
Why do you know about this movie?
Well, because it was a true story that happened during the Olympics in Calgary.
I asked that question, and then I immediately wish I could put those words right back in my mouth because I'm like, I got to remember who I'm talking to. You are a walking blockbuster, my man.
Well,
you know them all.
Yeah, but it's not even that. This is a true story. Like, I lived through the late 80s when...
Yeah, but a true story about a skier.
No. Yeah, but Matty,
it's such an odd thing.
It was that big. He was that big at that point because nobody from Britain had ever done this. He wasn't even supposed to be in the Olympics. And then he went in as kind of a novelty act, doing the shorter jumps, and then wanted to do, the big boys, 70 meter, I think it was. But anyway, my point is that back in the late 80s, there was the all-world ski jumper in Matti Nikkanen. I kind of went through phases where I thought he pronounced his name Nikkanen, but I think it was Matti Nikkanen. And he was the flying Finn, man. He was the guy. And so Jan Stenerude, back to him, grows up in Norway, junior star ski jumper. Doesn't know anything about the United States and college world and campus and anything like that. And somehow gets an offer from Montana State, of all places.
They the Bobcats over there? I think they are the Bobcats. Sorry, I'm throwing
the
you
Montana's
off
the Grizzlies,
but
right?
Is that what they are? What are they? Montana State. What are they?
I should know this. Get Bo back on the horn.
He'd be disappointed in us.
It is the Bobcats? Okay. Yeah, the Grizz is Montana. So, anyway, he gets the scholarship, and his mom is afraid that if he comes over, he's going to meet an American girl, get married, and never come home.
Leave her behind?
Never come back. And so that's not even the real story. So he decides to go because his dad says, go. This is the dream of all dreams. Get a full ride, get educated. His dad made the comment of, you need to have an indoor job. It's too damn cold here. Like, you need to be educated so you can have, quote, an indoor job. So he goes to Montana State, and I think he's going to be pretty good, alpine and cross country. And he's, I guess the story goes, and you can ask him about, he trained at the football stadium, and he had a soccer background. And here's the most important part of the story. The most important part of the story is there weren't any true soccer-style field goal kickers. Maybe one, Pete Gogolak. There were guys that maybe tried it, weren't very good. Because most of the straight-on guys, like even for my Vikes as a little kid, Fred Cox, who was straight ahead, Dempsey, those guys just steel toe, boom. Like, you know, like the old little game, like where just the guy would take 2 steps and kick a field goal. And so these guys that learn, these soccer guys that learn how to kick with the side of their foot and rotate through a ball to make it go farther, like a golf swing, really. You know, the more you rotate. And so
put your hips into it, baby.
That's right. It's all in the hips.
That's right.
And so he just, I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, I'm telling you, Maddie, a 50-yarder was not unheard of, but it was something special.
It was rare.
It was. Yeah. It really was. And now they're routine. And I think the simple answer is the training is superior and the style of these guys. But in 1981, he goes to the Chiefs. He was kind of done. Oh, I'm sorry. He goes to the Packers. Bart Starr, of all people, calls him, can you kick still? Yeah, I think I can. He's
you
like,
don't say no to that guy.
37, 38 years old. And in 1981, he was 92%. 92% on field goals. And then he went to my Vikes to end it. And at 42, he was 87%. And so I think kind of near the end in the late 70s when he was 37, and then Bart Starr gives him a call. But his resume is 75th all-time team, NFL 100th all-time team, Chiefs Hall of Famer, Packers Hall of Famer. His number 3 retired by the Chiefs, 9 All-Pros, and he was an All-American ski jumper.
It's rare. Cannot wait to ask him about that journey.
Only guy, the first guy to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, as a pure place kicker.
Yeah.
Because Blanda played quarterback, Lou the Toe was a tackle. He was just that dude.
One job and one job only. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome to talk to him about that because it is just a handful of guys. Not many guys are in that fraternity of kickers that are in the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame itself is a 1% type of club there, and then you whittle that down to where those guys are, and it's just a special room that they're in. So, yeah, these Gold Jacket Thursdays, man, are absolutely awesome because the stories of all these guys are just so different, and how they got to the top of the mountain. All of these guys, the journeys are my favorite part, right? Because a lot of these guys you can look up and see how good they were out there on the field. But I love hearing the backstory of the work that they put in, who was important to them along the way, and some of the funky stuff that we get into with them. Like, hey, you were a skier prior to becoming a football player, and then he's got himself a gold jacket, man. So it'll be really, really cool to chop it up with him at 2:30 today.
Let me ask you this now. Yeah. What if one day, and I hope to still be here if this happens, that I can get Ed Reed on the program.
He's banned from the program.
As a Pro Football Hall of Famer and a Raven. That'd be such a gift from me to you.
No, that's like giving me Cole on Christmas Day.
Cole Bartimus?
No, not Cole Bartimus. Not TLC. No, Ed Reed is banned from the program.
You want to tell the folks why?
We were at Radio Row down in New Orleans this year. It's a who's who event at Radio Row. I mean, celebrities, actors, actresses, chefs. I mean, we saw the Old Spice dude there walking around with his shirt off, the dude that does the commercials there. It's everybody and their mama is there.
And a limp.
So I come out of the bathroom, and I'm by
Don't bury the lead now.
I'm by
in the bathroom with Ed Reed.
No, by the NFL Network set. And I'm like, okay, there's Ed Reed. It's my guy.
You're sure this didn't start at the urinals?
It did not start there. It did not start there. Who did I run into? I ran into Malcolm Butler in the bathroom, though.
That's right.
Made the interception for
there was some
the Pats.
connection.
Said congrats on the interception. He said, I appreciate you, dog.
And you said, hey, Bill Belichick's going to write a book about benching you, and then his girlfriend's going to stampede it.
So this all took place at the trough.
I see Ed Reed by the NFL Network set. I'm like, okay, this is my guy. One of my favorite Ravens of all time. All I want from him, no autograph, no nothing, just a quick selfie. That's it. That's all I want. So I can have that in my photo collage for years and years. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. So I see Ed. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be ready so he doesn't have to do anything but just smile. The camera is open, locked, and loaded. The camera is flipped into selfie mode. And I say, Ed, can I get a quick picture? He's like, no, I got to go. So not only does he deny me, but probably 10 feet later, he stops and takes a picture with some female right in front of my face. And so broke my heart as a Ravens fan. Unfortunately, Ed Reed is dead to your boy.
I thought he was kind of kidding because I heard that story on Radio Row Week.
I took a picture of him. He smiled for me.
Exactly. Yeah. But I heard that story on Radio Row because I was running the board because Colin was out there with you guys. I was in here trapped listening to all your fun stories from New Orleans. And I heard that and I'm like, he's ribbing Ed Reed a little bit.
No, serious.
We said it off air. I mentioned Ed Reed's name because we were talking about I think we were talking about who would you want to host a show with from your favorite team? And I said Ed Reed, just naming a Baltimore Raven from Matt and Ice, and he goes, F this guy.
No, he's out.
The great part about it also, and I've protected Ed in this, but I want to protect my boy too because I think I can get these two guys back together. I don't think the statute of limitations. I don't think he'll be banned for life.
No,
I don't think it's a lifetime ban.
When you're dead to me, you're dead to me.
Yeah, but we can Jon Snow this thing.
I'm telling you.
Unearth him.
No. There's no Masande, no witchcraft that you can do to bring him back to life on this show. He's cooked.
The Iceman cooling off.
I'm hot right now talking about Ed Reed.
Then the other part about this real fast is then he got to see me with Kevin O'Connell and Thielen.
Adam Thielen wanted to talk to you. You weren't even looking at him. He saw his Viking zip up. He's like, hey, what's up, man?
I think he thought I was a former teammate.
What's going on in here?
All right, that's going to be a goal of mine, to somehow bring these two back together. They don't have to be best friends, but somehow get this to a livable stage.
If you surprise me and put him on the air without me knowing, I will walk out of the studio for that segment.
Let me know in advance.
That may be worth it.
Let me know in advance you're going to do that so I can do the research to co-host that segment with you.
All right, we're going to come back. The never-ending debate, not that one, but Michigan versus the Natty. And it's back on again. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with a thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from The Diamond Cellar, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom! That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
To...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget. Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
The peace lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Bishop and Friends.
Remember, you and I went to Gillies in Dallas, and there was a mechanical bull there that I think you could have thrived on.
I did that one time, and I broke my pelvis.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Cellar.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens of your latest forecast. We're looking at some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder this afternoon. Temperatures up in the upper 60s. We'll drop down into the 40s tonight as things dry out. Sunny and 60s for your Friday. We'll be back to 70s this weekend with more sunshine Saturday and Mother's Day. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Maddie's favorite show is Big Brother. Don't read into it. He's only watching strangers through hidden cameras. You're listening to Rothman and Creepy Stalker Guy.
The never-ending debate. And it's back on again. And it's not through any fans or message boards or anything like that about what's more important, beating Michigan or winning a natty. I think we can all admit that on the floor of this conversation that they're both equally important to a lot of people. And the emotions that are stirred when you lose to Michigan versus not winning a natty. Like if you compared those two things, losing to Michigan and the emotion that's in there and that day at that time versus, okay, so they didn't go all the way and win it all, right? Now, it may have been different if Ohio State would have blown that lead to Notre Dame, and my goodness, it would have been implosion of all implosions. But the fact that they, and I said this before, right after the Michigan game, said, I don't think the team's broken, and the last time I checked, the goal was to be the last team standing. That is the most important thing you've ever heard, which is, wait a minute, there's still a college football game and we're in it and it's the last one? That's the goal of every team. Can we play in the last game? We're all going through this together in a new era. We're all doing this. I lived through the 90s, covered the 90s. I knew you couldn't have a loss in that game and feel like you could win the natty. It just wasn't part of the equation. And a lot of people love that era where it mattered so much, where it was such a spoiler. Now you can lose that game, circle back, which they did, and win it all. And so I think when guys discuss this, it's a lot easier to discuss it when you know you've already won the natty. Like if Ohio State didn't go on and win the national title, so they didn't win it, and we did the same question. What's more important, winning it all or beating Michigan? You know what it is 80% of the time? Beating Michigan. But the fact that they won the national title, I think, Maddie, kind of brings it back to a little more of Well, now you experience the emotion of winning a natty.
Yeah.
And now you're putting that up against something that happened a while back that actually doesn't matter in the big picture of winning the natty.
To me, number one on the board is always winning the whole darn thing. Always. The rivalry, it'll always be special. Has it lost a little bit of oomph because of what you can do and how you can recover with the new 12-team playoff? Absolutely. But when we get into that week, the hype's always going to be very, very high. The preparation is always going to be the same over there at the Woody. It's going to be a round-the-clock, 365 every day. Something's getting brought up about Michigan, and that's never going to change. But when they did lose the Michigan game, I was like, okay, go lick your wounds, both the fan base and the team, and let's all gather ourselves again here in a couple weeks to get ready to go on this ride to play for the ultimate prize. And to me, at the end of the day, that's what really matters. Not taken away from the history of this rivalry. It's always going to be special. Every single year, it will be that way for both programs. But I do think the rivalry loses a little bit of bite because the consequences aren't as sharp as they have been in the past. And so for the team last year that had to go through that, and I know we're going to hear from Will and Jack here in a minute, specifically those two guys, you'll hear what they say, but also go back and see what we saw from them after losing that game. They cared about losing that game. They weren't just like, oh, you know what? Oh, well, doesn't really matter. We lost. We saw what happened with Jack. I remember watching Will's post-game press conference after that game. He barely wanted to speak to anybody after that game because he knew that history was not on their side when it came to that rivalry, and they're not going to be remembered in a good light unless they go on to do what they did. And so the rivalry, yes, it is one of the best rivalries in all the sports, but it ain't hitting the same anymore for me personally because of what they can do after that, even if you do lose that game, if you handle the majority of your business going into the game against Michigan.
You can make the case that losing this year to them actually provided the anger and the motivation to finish the right way and go on to win it all. I'm not telling you that if they would have beaten Michigan, they wouldn't have won it all. I'm just saying it was all that was left. And the other part about it is, I wonder if we were asking this question in a year where Ohio State, let's say we're talking about this in 2021, and Ohio State had beaten Michigan 8 straight times, and then they lost to Michigan but won the Natty. Let's say we expanded this 4 years ago. I don't know if this would hit as hard, because if you had just beaten them 8 years in a row and lost them one time but then won the Natty, I think you get a little bit of a, okay, it's all right. I think a lot of this conversation is on the heels of losing to them 4 straight times. I think it carries more weight. The cumulative effect of losing to them 4 straight times versus them winning the Natty is why this debate's here. Because if you had ripped off those 8, lose 1, win the Natty, okay, what do you mean? You're going to crush a team who lost their first one in 9 tries? Of course you wouldn't. It's the 4 straight is why I think this is back up. Here's who do you want to start with? Will?
Sure.
All right, Will Howard with Ben Roethlisberger on The Game.
And obviously we want it, we literally talk about it every single day. And there's a huge emphasis on it. No M's in the building. Can't wear, I don't think I've worn blue this whole year. It's very, very, it runs really deep. I had to jump into it. Okay. And I knew that, I'm a person that doesn't, I've said this before, I don't do things halfway. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to, if I'm going to be a Buckeye, I'm going to be a freaking Buckeye. I'm not going to wear blue. I remember I showed up on my visit. I visited, I think it was right after you guys played in the Cotton Bowl against Missouri. And the second day I woke up and I put on a blue rowback hoodie. And I didn't even think about it. And I walked into the facility, and then I just, I felt like people were looking at me weird. Nobody actually said anything to me, but as soon as I got in there, it was freezing cold. It was damn near negative degrees, and I was walking around in a t-shirt because I didn't want to. I was like, Mom, can you throw this in your purse or something? You have to jump into it. Okay. And it's hard not to. When you first get there, yeah, it is, it's new, it's different, it means a lot to the people that have been there. But I was, we do Team Up North abs damn near every day. Every M in the building's crossed out. So it's there's not a lot of, you don't really have a choice. You got to kind of either dive in or you're going against everybody.
All right, 2 things. One, who was the one that was saying so stupid?
I think that's Big Ben. I'd be surprised if that was Jack. I'm pretty sure that was Big Ben.
It was just those 3, so there's no way that was Sawyer.
Yeah. All I heard is so stupid.
Big Ben.
Okay. What? I mean, that's a little weird comment. You're asking him a question about the rivalry, and then he says you can't wear blue in the facility. All right. Number 2, no one's ever accused Ohio State of not caring or treating the game seriously. No one ever. And they will never.
Right.
It's all results-based. The people that are questioning it is why can't they get it done on game day?
Can I push back on that just a little bit? I think both C.J. Stroud and Kyle McCord in the post-game press conferences says it's just a game. I know Stroud said it's just a game. I think Kyle McCord said the exact same thing.
Okay, so I lived through the Terry Glenn, God rest his soul. I lived through that era where he's I was in there. I was in the facility. We were interviewing him, and Bobby loves this story because he always tries to twist it on me. We asked Terry Glenn about preparing for Michigan. Do you prepare differently? And instead of him saying Michigan is no different, meaning we take every game seriously, he accidentally, I believe, said Michigan is nobody. That quote, got packaged up, delivered Lloyd lockers for everybody, and it was the motivation in the 90s. I think those guys might feel the same way in that they're not treating them any less. I don't know what people want to know. As an athlete, you have to go into that game with, yes, equal intensity. Maybe it's human nature not to be able to have the same intensity against Minnesota as you would Michigan. But I just don't think the question has never been about care. It's about execution and psychology. And it's not like those guys came off the field not wanting to execute. It's just one of those things that, and I remember coming in that Monday. Honestly, I think what's stupid is all the crossing out of the M's now. It's not helping, but if they want to do it, that's their prerogative. But it's more about what's happening on game day, how they're not executing during that game when they have to. No doubt. So we'll hear more from, I'll tell you, we'll play the Jack Sawyer when we come back. And because I think that now that these guys have been part of a national championship team, they are allowed to look at things a little differently this past season. You'll hear it next in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
With Progressive customer service, there are lots of ways to connect with us, so you never have to miss a second of your favorite sport. Because you'd much rather watch a ball go through a net 124 times in 48 minutes when you don't really have to pay attention until the last 2, and then somehow those 2 minutes will take an hour. You don't want to miss all that. Luckily, you can chat with Progressive on our app, online, or over the phone without missing a single one of those times the ball goes through the metal circle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes. This week, we salute U.S. Navy veteran Ronald Jordan. For over 25 years, Ronald has served our country and community, flying critical missions, protecting top officials, and keeping our streets safe as a Springfield police officer and homicide detective. With retirement around the corner, he's looking forward to traveling with his wife. Thank you, Ronald, for a lifetime of service.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Now you can watch Rothman and Ice.
Go to YouTube and search 97.1 The Fan.
Rothman is wearing the pancake makeup, so you might as well watch. Back to Rothman and Ice.
All right, back to it. Matt Fininkis, former Buckeye great, 1 o'clock, get his take on, where we are now after winning a natty and having to kind of sidestep the 4 straight losses to Michigan. And certainly the natty, Matty, gives you the ultimate weapon.
Ultimate trump card.
It really is. Yeah. And it's not to dissolve the loss. And I think that you and I have always been in lockstep on that. I don't think this is you got to be on Team Natty or Team Rivalry.
Everybody should be on Team Natty, though. Like, to me, like I don't see it any other way. Yes, the importance of that game is through the roof. But you don't line up in any sport just to beat your rival and not go on to win the ultimate prize. So I don't know if there's that many people out there that are saying, hey, I just want to beat Michigan and I don't care if they don't win Big Ten championships and don't win national championships. I don't understand that way of thinking for the people that do think that way. But especially now in this era of college football, you ain't spending millions and millions of dollars on these rosters to just beat your rival and not go on to do anything else of importance.
Well, while we're doing this, let me at least shout out a station sponsor. Today's fan poll brought to you by Caster Connection. What is more important to you as a Buckeye fan, beating Michigan or winning the national title?
Okay. I think, honestly, it's weird, but I think it's a legit question. I don't know if the lines are a little bit blurred, like we've talked about, because they're both winning a national championship is the ultimate goal. Like Maddie said, it's absolutely right.
And especially real quick, AR, when you are a Mount Rushmore program and you're competing with the likes of the Georgias and the Bamas and the Clemsons and those type of programs, like that's another separator too, is that when you're Ohio State, you got to get in that mix or stay in that mix as well. There's other programs that, hey, if you are, Oregon State and Oregon or maybe lesser programs than that, beating your rival that year can be viewed as like your national championship. Ohio State is different.
So we had a lot of fun with this last fall, and I made the analogy, because it happened to me, that when I made my first hole-in-one, it was also a part of potentially my greatest round. It wasn't like I was playing like crap and hit a lucky shot and it went in. I got to hole number 15 or 14 at like 1 under. So I am now in weird territory that my ace could have been a part of the greatest day I've ever had on a golf course. Well, I did the one thing you shouldn't do. I started thinking, and it kind of crashed a little bit, and it wasn't my personal best. So I came off the golf course thinking, idiot, you just made an ace. This is incredible. I remember coming in the next day and Maddie asking me, I think we had this conversation, okay, you have to pick. You can have your best personal day ever or make this elusive hole-in-one. And I struggled. I struggled hard with that question because it was going to be a part of something great. The Michigan loss is, unfortunately, you do have a red L in the year you had this epic run. You would never handpick it that way. You never script it that way. You want everything. You want all the engraved footballs to say W next to Michigan that year, not L. And so I can understand why people are like, you know what? That the emotion of losing to a bitter rival pains me enough. What's that line that Brad Pitt has in Moneyball? I hate losing more than I enjoy winning. Mm-hmm. I do think there are people in this town that hate losing to Michigan more than they love winning a natty.
That's crazy to me.
I don't know if it is crazy.
Listen, that's wild to me. I don't know how you think that way. When your program is supposed to be one of the handful of the best programs in the sport nationally. Like the Michigan game, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say what just popped into my mind.
Say it, Matty.
But it's like if you were a Yankees fan.
Come on.
If you're a Yankees fan and you go on to beat, let's say, the Red Sox in the ALCS, but lose the World Series, your season's not complete just because you beat the Boston Red Sox. Your season's complete if you're the Yankees when you win the World Series because they are a one-of-one MLB franchise in the sport. That's just the way I look at it. I can't get to the other side. I'm sorry that you would take a rivalry win and pass on the biggest prize in the sport.
The pain of losing to a hated rival
fades away when you're holding that trophy.
It has for these guys, and it should because they're in it. I'm looking at it from what the fans are probably thinking, which is what it does for them. And I'm saying they're equally important. The lines are a little blurred. Let's hear from Sawyer on Roethlisberger's pod.
Winning a national championship. That takes no emphasis off how important the game is.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, I understand that.
Exactly. But when you win a national championship, if anyone tells you they'd rather go 1-12 and just beat the team up north, you're crazy. You know what I mean? You're playing this game to win championships, and make no mistake about it, no one wants to beat those guys more than we do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you there's nothing we could have done after that. You know what I mean? We have our shot to go chase the ultimate goal, which is to win a national championship. Yeah. You know, and like in the NFL, you lose 4 games in the regular season, you're probably the best. You're probably the number 1 overall seed in the playoffs. So that's kind of like the approach we took, especially with the expanded playoffs. And I think it's going to continue to be like that. Obviously, the game is still going to be the game because it is the game, the best rivalry in sport. But I think at the end of the day, I think you'd be crazy to say you would rather beat them and not win a national championship instead of win a national championship and not beat them. And in a perfect world, you do both of those things. But obviously, we didn't. But winning a national championship kind of erases all that.
Okay, so it's dead on right for him. Because he's a player, and he was a big part of it, and he had the huge play against Texas, and he's a local kid, and he's a hero to a lot of people. And they won the Natty, and he should feel that proud of that they were able to right that wrong and rip off 4 straight against 4 very, very good teams. And so all this question, to me, goes to more of the people that support the team, the fans, the people that buy the tickets and the gear and live and die through wins and losses. Not a player. The player perspective is absolutely correct. He's absolutely 100% correct. He's in it. You have another game to play. I have something to do with it. I can impact it. We won it. He's dead on right. I think that's why this is different. If you look at it through a fan's lens, there's something missing for them. It feels a little hollow to them. It doesn't make it less important.
See, I don't know if that's every Buckeye fan.
It may not be. What are the results on the poll right now? Do we have any results?
I didn't look it up on the website.
I'd be curious what they are.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
But, let me add this, though, too, because you're talking about the perspective. I think there's an age discrepancy there. And we've talked about this on the show before, too, that the older Buckeye fans who grew up where there wasn't even a Big Ten conference championship, so you just played your schedule, and then a bunch of AP voters figured it out for you, and then you could yell at the voters if you disagree. So I think the younger Buckeye fans who have experienced multiple iterations where I grew up with a BCS, and then there was the 14 playoff, and that was the 18 playoff. So there's been a lot of change in my 2.5 decades.
I think the majority of NFL fans, if you told them that they would lose both times to their rival within that year and go on to win the Super Bowl, you're taking the Lombardi.
Yeah, I think the NFL is a little different.
Well, I think with some of the rivalries, though, that go back a long time in that league, you take those 2 L's to your rival, but you go on to win the Super Bowl. That's what it's about. You ain't thinking about those L's. You think. Let me tell you this. I was out at a bar for the national championship game. There was nobody after the confetti was dropping that was bittersweet about winning the national championship game because they lost to Michigan. That wasn't even a thought in people's minds.
I know.
You go to the Dick's stores around the city. Everybody was selling that national championship game. People were all over that stuff, jumping through the roof because they won it all.
I agree with you.
So that's just my perspective, AR. And I'm with Jack Sawyer. I don't understand how people are wired that way. You don't pass up on the biggest prize just to say we beat our rival.
I can't explain it. I'm just playing dime store psychologist here. And I'm going to go back to what I said. There are some people that hate losing more than they enjoy winning. And I lived through a similar circumstance in 96 when they went on to win that Rose Bowl. When they went on to win the Rose Bowl over Arizona State in dramatic fashion, Jermaine DeBoston and my beloved friend Demetrius Stanley, who was just epic in that game.
No doubt.
I was not thinking of the loss to Michigan. I was thinking that Coop and that group got that just finally won the big one, big game. We'll have Fininkis on at 1 o'clock. He played in it. We'll ask him, did those emotions dissolve a little bit the 3 straight losses to Michigan in 95, 96, 97? I think Cole brings up a good point on this can be era-related. It can be generational. And I also will tell you that I think if this wasn't the 4th straight loss to Michigan this year, I think this conversation would kind of be moot. I don't even think we'd be having it. I think it's the logs that had piled up over the last 4 years.
Those fans that prioritize the Michigan game more than a national championship, would they ever suggest that Sharon Moore has better job security right now than Ryan Day? Hell no. So they don't even believe themselves. Because one of them won a national championship, and one of them is winning the game. Which coach would you rather have? The 6-6 coach who won an important game, or the 10-2 coach who won all the other big games?
No, you're gonna slant it the way you have to slant it, because that's what you have to cling to. And so while Michigan should cling to, we got them. We got them again. Like they should do that. Where Ohio State should lean into, oh yeah, we're the last team freaking standing.
Look at this trophy.
That's the the last time we checked. That's what we're all playing for.
No doubt.
But you cannot deny that the lines are a little blurred, because you can't have it be the greatest rivalry in sports and then dismiss it when it's convenient.
I don't think they're dismissing it. I don't think there's a dismissal of it. I just think, to me, it shouldn't hold as much weight this year because of what they did on the other side.
And it's an 80-20 split.
Of Natty versus
winning a Natty, 80-20.
Of course. Yeah. And probably accurate. That's probably a very accurate poll, and I rarely would say that about anything else.
Surprise, it's 20%. Even that seems high.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to come back and get into a certain unfair treatment, perhaps, of a very good player. And it's one of those guys that when you're a star kind of in the media and you can call a guy out, and is it accurate? Is it fair? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. May is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you're going to be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. Beat the heat and keep the AC in your home with Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you'll get 60% off and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows. Plus, no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. That's a whole lot of savings and a super smart investment, especially when prices are rising. So how exactly does Window Nation keep the prices affordable? Well, they work directly with top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon, so don't miss your chance to get 60% off. Plus, a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows. And you pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
This Mother's Day, be direct. Tell Mom she shines without saying a word. At Diamonds Direct, we've curated a meaningful collection of timeless gifts for every budget, from birthstone rings and stackables to diamond pendants, pearls, and stunning earrings. So here's to Mom for her love, her strength, and always putting others first. This year, she deserves a gift that lasts a lifetime, and that's our specialty. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom! That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Miss a minute of Rothman and Ice? Check out the podcast.
Type in Rothman and Ice wherever you get your podcasts. Download and subscribe.
Back to Rothman and Ice.
All right, Cavs in the hole. They might dig out a little bit, but probably not win the series.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're way down in the hole, like the Wire intro. You know? Way down in the hole. I got to rewatch The Wire.
Dark Knight kind of hole, or?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
that too. You know, Christian Bale had to climb out of that thing. It was tough. That's kind of the feel.
He bounced against the wall a few times before he could get out.
The feel of the Cavs right now is, can they find their way out? It's looking real bleak, AR.
One of their stars, Darius Garland, has had a toe injury. Now, from the sound of it, you'd be like, wait a minute, this is the playoffs. You're a star. How much money is this guy making? How do you not play? I always usually ask myself, is he choosing not to play? Of course not. And then they have to decide whether he's a liability or an asset. By name alone, he's not worth anything to me. I need the player. And so Stephen A. Smith was on the other day, and apparently he must have either Darius Garland's doctor on speed dial or the trainer, or think he's faking it, or just wants to call him out as being soft, or maybe he's going full old school on him. I don't know. Here it is.
Darius Garland, listen, a toe injury is significant, could be very painful. I understand that. As far as I'm concerned, you got to be damn near crippled if you can't play. You got to be damn near crippled if you can't play. You got to find a way to get out there. Because last night, Nembhard and Halliburton combined for 45 points, like 19 assists, and 1 turnover. They're getting guard play in Indiana. Donovan Mitchell needs help, period. Because whether it's Ty Jerome, whether it's Strus or somebody else, I mean, listen, they're not point guards, okay? He needs some help in that backcourt. Now, you missed 4 straight games, Darius Garland. I mean, damn, you got all off season to heal. Somehow, some way, I mean, you're on the brink of elimination. I mean, you got to get out there. You got to find a way. Limp your ass out there no matter which way you got to do it. I don't give a damn. All right? Find a way.
All right. While it comes off as old school, it comes off incredibly accusatory and also probably not accurate, because what he's doing is insinuating that he is faking it almost. Not faking it, but to the point where he could play, because even if he could play, he wants him to be effective. I just thought it was very contradicting the statement, which is he starts out the statement with, listen, a toe injury is significant. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Then stop there.
Either stop there or saying, but I don't believe yours is. Because you can't ask him to defend those guys. I came on the air the other day and said their defense was horrendous in the last minute. Forget about the inbounding and the not boxing out and the stupid plays. The defense alone was bad. I understand he would help you. He's fast. He's a shot maker. I get it. But don't start out by saying, I know a toe injury is significant, and then not say, but I don't believe yours is. Because that's what he just said there.
Stephen A. does things like this, and I can't stand it because he says things for effect. And he says things for oohs and ahs and playing the tough guy card when you really don't know what's going on. I bet you Darius Garland has done everything in his power over the last week or two to try to get out there on the floor. You don't think Darius Garland wants to take advantage of this situation and try to help his team go on to the NBA Finals with the path that could be in front of them right now with the way Boston looks and how they won 64 games this year? You're not just throwing in the towel on this season just to hang out on the sideline. If you can play, you can play. Another one of my pet peeves in sports is when we act like the next guy in line is supposed to sustain the same level of play. Like, that's not realistic. There's a reason why Darius Garland of the world, Donovan Mitchell's and Mobley, these guys are all-stars and making millions and millions of dollars. We always kind of act like, not us, but just people in general. Sometimes you hear, well, next man up.
Well, no, I think that's why he's saying what he's saying.
No, that's just a side note for me. That just drives me nuts when we talk about injuries because it's not realistic. And so Stephen A. doesn't really know what's going on with Darius Garland's foot. He is playing the old school. You got to go out there, and if he used the word, you got to be crippled to not play in the game. No, it's not how it works.
How does that help them?
If you go out there on the floor and you're limping around, you're a liability at that point on both ends, and you don't gain any type of positivity or anything productive by doing that if you're Darius Garland because all you're doing is hurting the squad.
He made the accusation that he doesn't care enough. That's what he was saying. He doesn't care enough because if Darius Garland does this and looks good, then everybody will say, oh, well, I guess he wasn't injured that much. But if he goes out there and stumbles around, I'm supposed to give him points for that?
No, because then everybody's going to say, why are you playing?
Yeah, I'm supposed to all of a sudden, okay, he limped his butt out there like Stephen A. asked him to, but it was even worse. Or, like, yes, I know, they're desperate. They're down 0-2. Yeah, all hands on deck, whatever. If he's not healthy, he's not healthy. Here's the counter. Play Windhorst.
Darius Garland is truly hurt. Darius Garland had this injury at the end of the regular season. They gave him a couple of days off. They brought him back for the playoffs and played because what you're supposed to do, right, is play in the playoffs because you play in the playoffs. And then he was re-injured. They didn't hold him out because they were, super conservative with injury. He played and he was re-injured and the injury is worse.
You know what Stephen A. is saying? That if I lost my voice, I would still host today.
Which he wouldn't do.
Even if he did, guess what would happen? The show would suck.
Mm-hmm.
We can't hear you. Mm-hmm. You sound like crap. I'm not giving you points because you limped out there and hosted your show with no voice. Yeah. That's what he wants. He wants he's making the accusation that the guy doesn't care enough, that he should want to be stretchered out there and stretchered off because that would show somehow that you care.
And this is
That's
just
what he was accusing him of.
Another example of why players in the league have beef with Stephen A. LeBron, Kevin Durant, because he says things like this that to me make no sense whatsoever.
What I'd rather him say
and you're
today?
Doing it again for effect and you're doing it for laughs. That's what you're doing it for.
I do think, I took my tough pill today. You didn't. Yeah. But I think if you're going to start it out with, listen, I know a toe injury is significant, then at least have the guts to say afterward, I don't believe yours is.
Yeah.
Because that's what he was saying.
No doubt.
All right, we come back with Matt Fininkis next, the former Buckeye great, and we'll have a good time with him. Top of the hour, Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah? The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hi there, I'm Ryan Reynolds, and like most actors, I have a list of things that I like to have on set. It's called a rider. It's just little things like wind chimes being blown by a easterly breeze, a 7-year-old calico cat to purr on my lap, and, of course, 2 freshly cracked eggs scrambled with crispy hash brown sausage crumble and creamy chipotle sauce from Tim Hortons. It smells amazing. Now, where did I put that hand-carved wooden spoon? From my rider to Tim's menu, try my new scrambled eggs loaded breakfast box.
Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, 3-time national champion head coach coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining LifeSearch to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. LifeSearch featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes. This week, we salute U.S. Navy veteran Ronald Jordan. For over 25 years, Ronald has served our country and community, flying critical missions, protecting top officials, and keeping our streets safe as a Springfield police officer and homicide detective. With retirement around the corner, he's looking forward to traveling with his wife. Thank you, Ronald, for a lifetime of service.
Hey, it's Anthony. You know what the slogan is at the Good Feet store? Good feet, good life. Friends have asked me, how are my personally fit arch supports different from the inserts and insoles they can buy online or in department stores? There are big differences. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to provide me firm yet flexible function. What does that do? They actually help correct poor foot biomechanics, which leads to providing me long-term pain relief. I was also the guy who thought, well, if I buy good shoes, my feet won't hurt. It wasn't a bad thought. A lot of people think shoes are always the problem, when in reality, it's often the foot that goes into the shoe that's the real source of discomfort. When I got my personally fit Good Feet arch supports, my feet felt stabilized. The pain and discomfort went away. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people just like me discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes! Let's go!
That's you taking another sip of your
Mountain Dew.
Do the Do.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Are you ready for the NFL season? The schedule release is coming, and we know the best place to get your tickets this year. My friends at Vivid Seats. They're seriously legit, and you earn rewards on every purchase. That's basically free football games. When that schedule hits, don't wait around. For the best selection and all the great deals, head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in your game days now.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. The Columbus Clippers playing a little day baseball right now over in Indianapolis. They're heading to the bottom of the seventh. The Clippers trail the Indians 4-3. The Cincinnati Reds wrapping up their series in Atlanta tonight at 7:15. Nick Lodolo heads to the mound for Cincy opposite the Braves' Spencer Schwellenbach. You can hear that one over on ESPN Columbus beginning at 6:45. Just one game in the NBA playoffs tonight as the Minnesota Timberwolves host the Golden State Warriors at 8:30. The Warriors are up 1-0 in that series. Stanley Cup playoffs, the Washington Capitals host the Carolina Hurricanes at 7. Carolina won Game 1. At 9:30, the Edmonton Oilers in Vegas to face the Knights. The Oilers up 1-0 in that one. This one's sponsored by RCD RV. Their open house is going on now through Saturday, and they have over 650 RVs in stock. You can visit RCD in Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala.
Always as tender as a well-done steak. This is Rothman and Ice.
Winning a national championship.
That takes all that.
That takes no emphasis off how important the game is.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, I understand that
exactly. But when you win a national championship, if anyone tells you they'd rather go 1-12 and just beat the team up north, you're crazy. You know what I mean? You're playing this game to win championships, and make no mistake about it, no one wants to beat those guys more than we do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you there's nothing we could have done after that. You know what I mean? We have our shot to go chase the ultimate goal, which is to win a national championship.
Yeah.
And like in the NFL, you lose 4 games in a regular season, you're probably the best. You're probably the number 1 overall seed in the playoffs. So that's kind of like the approach we took, especially with the expanded playoffs. And I think it's going to continue to be like that. Obviously, the game is still going to be the game because it is the game, the best rivalry in sport. But I think at the end of the day, I think you'd be crazy to say you would rather beat them and not win a national championship instead of win a national championship and not beat them. And in a perfect world, you do both of those things. But obviously, we didn't. But winning a national championship kind of erases all that.
Erases all of it, says Jack Sawyer. For him, it probably did. He was a huge part of it. The play against Texas was one that will live forever. The man on the line, my guy Matt Fininkis, was a part of a lot of these. And my first year in Columbus was 94, and I covered that game, and he had an epic game against them. It was the first win over Michigan in a while, and then it kind of went the other way. But he's with us now, and we got a chance to talk to the sack master from the 90s, Matt Fininkis. Good to have you, my friend.
Good to be with you guys.
All right, so I'm going to take you back before we get your reaction to Jack Sawyer there, and because I think there's a lot of nuance to this conversation. Certainly, they won the national championship. They have that as the ultimate prize. They were the last team standing. That is the ultimate goal. When you guys had the third straight loss to Michigan, but you go on and beat Arizona State in the Rose Bowl, how much after that game, because it was such an epic game, Matt, did you think about? Was it hollow because you didn't beat Michigan as part of the big picture, or did it kind of erase that for you?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of everything that you're talking about. I mean, there's a lot that goes into all of this. I mean, and it's not just a simple answer. After that game in '96, I mean, I venture to feel we felt just like those guys felt after this loss. I mean, huge favorites going in, national championship aspirations, number 1 or number 2 in the country, whatever we were ranked. Those guys shouldn't have even been on the field with us. And to lose 13-9 was just disgusting. I mean, and you just didn't even want to get out of bed in the morning. It was awful. But then, a couple days pass, and then, just like these guys did, the coaches brought them together. We've got a bigger picture here. We've got more to play for. We're still in the top 4 in the country. We're going to play number 2. We win that game. Things happen different on the other side. Now, obviously, playoffs would have been great back then, but, we still had a shot at the national title, too, in '96. We win that game. We finished second in the voting, as it turned out. But, very easily, if we win that game and voters think a different way, we're national champs in '96. So you had all that to play for still, and we were very cognizant of that going into the Rose Bowl game. As these guys were heading into the playoffs, I mean, and you can make the argument that loss on the last Saturday in November fueled that run. I mean, absolutely. And I think that, and I will say this, I love Jack. I mean, I've talked to him a number of times. He's one of the great kids on this team. I've loved him and his whole family, since I've got a chance to get to know those guys. They're great people. Same with Will Howard. Got the chance to talk to his family. My sister went to Kansas State and played basketball there, so talked to them about. They still have a son that's at Kansas State. So, nothing but respect for these guys. And I think the gravitas of time is going to catch up with these guys eventually. Now, the national championship is a huge thing, and you're never not going to be national champions. But for a guy like Jack Sawyer to have not won one, and to say that the national championship is going to erase that, I don't think that that's going to be the case in 10 years down the road for him. I just don't. I mean, and as a former player, I mean, I've got one pair of gold pants. I've got one from coaching. I've got one from playing. And, you know, I mean, and it hurts. I mean, those, and again, times are changing. The question is out there. Is the game going to have the emphasis that it always has had with this new playoff system and the conferences, you know, possibly realigning and these giant mega conferences? Is it going to matter as much? Right now, it still does. I mean, and that's all you can live in is the right now. You can't predict 5 years from down the road, is this going to matter anymore? Right now, it still means everything. And so I think at the end of the day, yes. Does it take the sting away? Absolutely. Did beating, you know, Arizona State in the Rose Bowl take the sting away from that game at the time? 100%. We're on cloud nine after that game, even though we ended up second, still, you know, on cloud nine after that game, winning in '96. 10, 15 years down the road, is it going to hurt not having a pair of gold pants for Jack Sawyer? 100%. There's no way around it. There's no ring that you can look on your finger and say, okay, cool, I'm good, without that hurt not having that charm to hang around your neck.
And I want to ask you this. Like last year's team, you mentioned their ability to get off the mat. And one thing that I think they had in their favor was experience. If that team didn't have the experience that they had on both sides of the ball and the leadership it seems like they had within their own locker room, do you think that's a thing that a young team could pull off and refocus themselves the way that they did? Or did it take a special team like they had last year with just all the reps and all the games that they played and all the time together to get that thing done?
No, I mean, it definitely takes a coaching staff, and it takes a team, and it takes leaders, and it takes guys who have been through that, you know, as seniors or juniors, who are able to reorganize and refocus your teteam. I mean, because you see it all the time. I mean, you see it with these teams that are less experienced with winning. You see them get off to a 6-0 start, and they look like world beaters, and then they take a loss, and then it's just in the toilet with them. And that's because they don't, and it's not because they became less talented in game 7, 8, and 9. It's because they don't have the leadership and they don't have the culture that allows them to get back off the mat and do that. Ryan Day's built that culture. You know, those seniors had that culture. They had that, you know, players only, or not players only, but they had that team meeting where they decided, you know, what their path was going to be. And you don't do that without great leadership, and you don't do that with guys that have that kind of experience, or without guys like Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs, who are kind of mature beyond their years, stepping up and being a voice.
Matt, let me ask you about what you feel. I'll take it back to present day as we talk to the great former Buckeye, Matt Fininkis. What do you feel is the just punishment for Michigan that the NCAA will come in and add on to their self-imposing of Sharon Moore's hand-picked 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, no one knows what the NCAA is going to do. But as time goes by, more and more is coming out that everything that we suspected that was happening there was happening. It's not like this had been overblown. It's not like things were taken out of context. It's not like, you know, oh, well, it really wasn't that bad. It was that bad. I mean, and for those of us who kind of have been on this since day one and have talked to people in the inside and throughout college coaching, I mean, this isn't just a, you know, Ohio State, Michigan thing. This is, I mean, all of college coaching knew this was, you know, going on and is furious. The ADs in the Big Ten are furious. I'm not sure that the Big Ten still doesn't step in with some kind of punishment after the NCAA does. I think that this is going to be a 100% teachable moment. This can never happen again type of punishment from the NCAA, because I mean, I was literally talking to a coach at a different university talking about this thing, you know, last year when this was all going down. And he said, you know, unless something happens that is draconian, who's to stop any team from doing whatever they want? Who's to stop Michigan from hiring a kid and flying drones over the Woody Hayes during practice time? If you're not going to punish teams that are going to blatantly cheat, what's to stop anyone from cheating? I mean, we've seen, we kind of saw this with NIL, with what the SEC was, they started challenging, rules and stuff within NIL of, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. And they challenge them and they win. And you had teams in the beginning of NIL who were trying to follow the rules as far as, whether you're paying prospects to come in and, and whether you're paying for 2 people or 10 people to come in on recruiting visits. And, and once one team does it and doesn't get in trouble for it, they're all going to do it.
Yeah.
So this is basically the tipping point for the NCAA if they want to be relevant at all moving forward. And I don't know that they even have that chance, but maybe this is their last ditch effort to kind of show like, hey, we've got some teeth here. And I think the ongoing just hubris of how Michigan has approached this, I mean, that's the one thing you don't want to do to the NCAA, right? Like, I mean, if you capitulate and you try to be nice and you try to accommodate, they're probably going to try to take it easier on you than they would. If you try to stonewall them, if you lie to them, I saw what Urban said over the weekend. I think that's 100% accurate. The minute you start lying to these people and doing and hiding and deleting text messages and, having staffers run around and tell players not to talk to the NCAA, they are going to do everything they can to hurt you. And rightfully so, because, I mean, that's how it should go in this scenario. So I don't know what the punishment is going to be. I think it's definitely going to be – I don't know that Sharon Moore coaches next year, to be honest with you. And I don't know what they're going to do after that. I think that, you see Santaono leaving. I think you see all of these things and all these dominoes continue to happen. I think you look at the recruiting class not being basically non-existent for them next year because they can't – I mean, they can go out and lie to recruits, but the recruits are hearing it from the other side too. And the other teams are telling them, like, look, they're done. You're wasting your time if you go there. That's why no one's signing there, aside from the one kid who the Oracle guy is paying $10 million
right.
to. I mean, other than that, like, no one's signing there. And I think that's the reason why, because I think at the end of the day, college football, there's enough angst and anger, not just within rivals or within the conference, but across the board in college football, from coaches to ADs, that this happened, that there's going to be a pretty severe punishment for those guys.
All right. We'll wait and see if the hammer falls, my man. Thanks for making time for us, as always, on short notice, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man. Anytime.
Thanks.
Sounds good, guys. Have a great one.
He's the man, Matt Fininkis, former All-American defensive lineman for Ohio State back in the 90s. We will come back and hit on some conflicting reports on why Aaron Rodgers is waiting. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic or our new Cheddar Blast flavor made with real cheddar cheese. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around a golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-228-4544. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
Common Man and Bob Capace here for Worthington Jewelers. Bob, you know what I love the most about you?
That I pay you to do these commercials?
That and the way you treat your customers.
All right, listen. I will hook you up in our warm, inviting environment. you will be greeted by our top sales professionals that are non-commissioned, but will help guide you through the entire process.
You're my guy, Bob. Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com. Tell them Bob Capace sent you.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
The peace lily is so last year.
Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we're at Muirfield Village. We'll talk Memorial Tournament with Executive Director Dan Sullivan, PGA professional Peter Dornish, and Dave Shedlowski of Golf Digest.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick. Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. Watch out for some scattered showers, maybe a rumble this afternoon. Keep an umbrella on standby. Highs near 70. We'll drop into the 40s as we dry out tonight. Sunny and 60s for your Friday. Sunny weather continues Saturday and Mother's Day, but temperatures get back into the 70s. We'll be back to the 80s by next week. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony once ran the table on the World 9-Ball champion. Coincidentally, Maddie is out looking for a magic 8-ball. Signs point to this is Rothman and Ice.
He really is. Sometimes he's out looking for a good 8-ball. All right.
Well, let me clean that up.
I'm sorry, magic.
Because years ago, when you were doing the show with Bobby, is when right around when Lamar got drafted to Baltimore, and one of his nicknames out of the gate was 8-ball.
And I think I said it, and then you said, I think you said, what are you referring to? I don't think you knew what.
I knew what an 8-ball is.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't remember correctly.
Yeah, I knew what an 8-ball is, but yeah, that's where that comes from for the people that are like, what the heck? Is that they're playing coming back from break?
I don't even remember that that's what this conversation was about. Because all I remember is how great it was that... No, you know what? Actually, Maddie, I remember it differently. I remember me saying when we were hosting something about all signs point to yes or something, and I said, I haven't seen one of those... You asked, do they still make those magic 8-balls? And I kind of...
Yeah, you know what? I think that's where that comes from. But I remember I did call Lamar 8-ball on the air plenty of times. I think you did, but I think this
one was more about...
Me going on the hunt for those magical 8-balls. Going on a hunt to
find an 8-ball. I think that's what it was.
Jeez. Oh, man.
You can feel free to look that up if you'd like. All right. So on yesterday's program... So there's a I don't know if it's a rumor, a report, loose cannon. Read the tweet that you sent us last night.
Oh, great. I would have loved to have been given some heads up on that.
Stay ready. So
hold on. Yeah.
Stay ready. You got to get ready.
Come on. Sorry that you had to go to the bathroom during the break.
Well, I
had to make a protein shake.
Well,
that's what he was doing during the break. Yeah.
I got protein shakes.
Yeah. Yeah, but I saw you coming out of the bathroom. You're not making them in there.
I have the audio of what was tweeted, if that makes you feel any better. Because what was tweeted was...
That levels up.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me just cut to the chase there then. Andrew Filipponi of the PM team on 93.7.
Filipponi. Wow.
I didn't name him.
It's... Frankly, it sounds made up. But go ahead.
Andrew Filipponi. He's a radio host in Pittsburgh on 93.7 The Fan. They had Mike Florio on the show yesterday, and which is coincidental because we asked Adam Schefter a question yesterday about something Mike Florio said. So it all ties together, and here is what they were talking about on Pittsburgh radio regarding Aaron Rodgers and whether or not he's dodging primetime games.
I had somebody tell me yesterday your theory about him waiting until after the schedule comes out is on the money. He doesn't want to do it before then. And really, at some point between now and next Wednesday, the schedule is going to be locked.
Why is the schedule release factoring into that decision, Mike?
Well, because if the league knew with certainty that Aaron Rodgers was going to be a Steeler, there's potentially more primetime games, more short week games, more getting yanked all over the place. Look at the schedule the Jets had to start the season last year. And the league office, Mike North, the guy who's in charge of the schedule, said the Jets owe us one. They specifically loaded up the early part of the schedule with a lot of Jets games in prime time, in standalone spots, in London, 2 Sunday to Thursday turnarounds in the first half of the season. So let's just not give the league any reason to overload the Steelers. You know how Art Rooney feels about primetime home games. Let's not make it obvious. Let's wait. And if the league wants to schedule a bunch of primetime games, they're accepting the risk that it might be Mason Rudolph at quarterback, not Aaron Rodgers.
So my first instinct on this is I'm buying it. That I am buying it. That he is waiting. That he doesn't want to play Thursday nights, Sunday nights, Monday nights. He doesn't want to have the lack of recovery or whatever he views as that kind of thing. I can understand from the league standpoint. Why wouldn't they want to have an aging Aaron Rodgers? Whether he's great or whether he sucks, it's still a story.
And that brand. And one of the strongest fan bases in the sport.
Wearing that helmet.
Yeah.
Then I read on, I don't know, this was on Yahoo, that the headline says, sports personality floats ridiculous rumor about Steelers and Rodgers. Is it? Is it really ridiculous? Is it the most absurd thing you've ever heard? Have you listened to Aaron Rodgers talk over the last couple years?
The part that I think is a little wacky for me is the primetime games. I could understand the quick turnaround part of it for not only just an aging quarterback, for a lot of guys in the league. We hear how disgruntled they are with having to play on Sunday, then having to play right there on Thursday. I get that. I'm not buying the primetime games that Aaron Rodgers is running from the bright lights or anything like that. Like that to me is where Florio kind of lost me. And the other question I have too is, how do you know that if you're Mike Florio? Is that directly coming from the horse's mouth? Because that to me seems a little fishy for me as well. Like where's Florio pulling that from? Aaron Rodgers, he ain't going to run from an interview. He'll come out, speak his mind. I don't think he would admit that, but I also don't think he would admit that off the record to a guy like Mike Florio.
He must be pulling it from. I think he asked a good question. Here's my guess. My guess he's pulling it from past sources of hearing that Rodgers wasn't happy with that kind of stuff with the Jets. So why would he want to sign up for the same thing again? I don't think has it lock stone.
Yeah, I get that.
I think he's pulling from what he said earlier in that clip, which is that he doesn't want to get jerked around again. That maybe he did admit that to certain people that back-channeled it to the media.
Yeah.
And now that we're waiting because the Steelers have played around half their schedule with 1 o'clock kickoffs. Last season, they had 7 compared to 5 night games. That's a pretty good ratio, enough for Rodgers to want to sign. He's not going to escape night games, but this could be very plausible in him just getting as much information as he needs. I can't sit here to tell you that if somehow the league slanted the Steelers into some short weeks and night games, that all of a sudden Because if he wants to play, he wants to play. There's only so many places to do it. Here's the Q&A real fast from yesterday with Schefter. Pro Football Talk was intimating that Rodgers should wait until after the schedule release to see if the Steelers have a lot of weird, like, short weeks or that kind of stuff.
I don't think that's going to enter into his decision. I don't think so. I know he was non-committal, but I think the sense that the Steelers have given off from their owner down was that, that they believe he's going to play for them this year. That's what they believe.
So he had nothing really to add to that. I think Florio's job is to probably connect more dots than Schefter's job is. Mm-hmm. Schefter deals more in facts, not as much guessing. Florio does a pod with Chris Sims. It's content related. It's hypotheticals. It's speculation. I'm not saying he doesn't believe what he's saying. I'm just saying that there's no consequence if he's wrong. It doesn't come back to him. He's just speculating like we all do. But I'm buying it, and I feel like.
Which part are you buying? Are you buying all of it, or are you buying the short week part of it? Because I'm not buying that he doesn't want to play primetime games.
No, I think he'd love to be on primetime games.
So you were together that he may not want to play a bunch of short week games.
Just how it's stacked up.
That, to me, doesn't put Aaron Rodgers in a bad light, because I think there's a bunch of guys that would agree with Aaron Rodgers in that.
Probably doesn't want to play a Sunday night into a Thursday night.
You're going to have to do
play
one of those.
Monday night into a Thursday. Doesn't want to, I can understand that. But first of all, the Steelers' schedule, Matty, would have to be so absurdly ridiculous for him to say, that's too much for me. It would have to be so ridiculous. But maybe, and this is where I buy Florio, is that let's say Aaron Rodgers had already signed with the Steelers. Well, you can bet your butt they're going to get a serious amount of those.
Right, 2 to 3 primetime games, for sure. He threw in at the end, too, that Art Rooney's not a favorite of that?
Rooney.
What's that about? As an owner, why would you not want primetime games as an owner? I'd love to ask Mike why he thought that, why he threw that out there.
He doesn't have to play.
That's what I'm saying. Why would the owner care about that?
I don't trust Bueller as far as I can throw him. Well, with your bad knee, Ed, you shouldn't be throwing anyone. I don't really know why he wouldn't want primers.
As the owner. That's what you want. It kind of feeds into your theory for draft day. It's all about us in this moment.
Milk the entire 10 minutes as much as you can. All right, when we come back, we will try to hit on the potential of a very unlikely starter in Cleveland. That's in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Guys, what's up? It's Matty Ice, and I'm here with Wendy's. And if you're looking for your next sandwich love, check out the Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich. This sandwich really has me feeling the heat, and it's packed with bold Cajun flavors that add that perfect little kick. Plus, it's topped with crispy onions that give it a satisfying crunch in every single bite. And did I mention this is all on top of Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich? So if you love that, you have to get your hands on this Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich before it's gone. For that little extra kick, it's got to be Wendy's, open until midnight or later.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at the Honda dealership here in Central Ohio, Germain Honda of Dublin. You know the brand, you know the reliability and the styling. Now get to know the deals. Grab a new 25 Honda HR-V, a 25 Accord SE, or even a 25 CR-V LX all-wheel drive for 0% up to 36 months. Talk to my man Rich. Get the right vehicle, the right deal at the right dealer. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Matty was a big Browns fan. Scratch that, we mean he's a big fan of the former Browns. The Baltimore Ravens. This is Rothman and Ice.
He really is, except his team recently cut a weapon, which we'll talk about in the next hour. See how he feels about that. I've got one big goal is to get you and Ed Reed back together.
No, Ed Reed
somehow it's got to happen.
Ed Reed can kick rocks.
You guys had a moment at the urinal. It went bad, and now things need to reconnect. And it probably has to reconnect at a Radio Row in the bathroom.
Good, man.
And then we'll see if
good on Ed.
Can't get things. We've got a man on the phone right now, a very loyal listener, so I appreciate this very much.
Is he in the sauna today?
The snow and the snow and rain sauna. Oh, I hear some sort of.
Where is he right now? Where you at, big dog? Where you at, Bobby Carpenter?
Coach, I was in the sauna listening to you guys. That's where all my creative juices come from and help you to solve your problem. And since Matty, your guy Rothman likes to walk through these things very sequentially. And so as I'm listening to the argument as to why, and everything you guys are saying makes a lot of sense on the surface. And Matty, what you're saying, why wouldn't you want primetime games? Well, you're looking at that from the Jerry Jones standpoint. Does Art Rooney strike you as a Jerry Jones type of guy?
No, he does not. No.
So here's the thing. It's not just the turnaround time for games, and Rothman knows this. It's the production that goes into those nighttime games. So think about when you watch Sunday night and Monday night. They're showing the vignettes. They've got the sit-down. They're doing the one-on-ones with all the quarterback and the players. And I think, and you said, you guys are right, like Aaron, he pops on all the time. He pops on where he wants to pop on. He doesn't want to do media anymore. He wants to control the narrative. And I honestly think the Steelers are in lockstep with that. And so the more I've looked at this and the fact that handshake deal was reported a week or two ago, I think they might be trying to put one on the NFL here with the scheduling and saying, listen, we'll play 1 o'clock games and some 4 o'clock games. You know what? And our couple prime timers that you're going to give us anyway, because we're the Steelers, we already have one of the biggest brands in football. We're not the Jaguars. We're not the Panthers. We don't have to try to build a fan base. We got a fan base. And Aaron Rodgers is right on the other side of that saying, I don't want to deal with all this nonsense and the dog and pony. I'll come back. I'll play quarterback. And I'll tell you, man, going from Dallas, where we played every night of the week and every holiday that was available, to go into Detroit, where every week we played Sunday at 1, you're not getting the prime time, but it's a lot easier. And it's much easier on your stars because they don't have to go do that stuff every week. You're not answering questions. I guarantee you Tomlin's on board. You think he wants to sit down and do vignettes every week talking about, Aaron, and what's it like, and how is he to coach? Is he coachable? Who does he compare to, and all this stuff. So I honestly, when you start saying that, and I'm listening to you guys, I'm like, man, these guys might be in cahoots. They might be in this thing together as a team, and we're just going to play chicken with the NFL and dare them to try to put us on there just like they did the Jets, and if something happens, then it's a disaster. But we don't need these nighttime games. We'd rather go 12-5 in silence, win the division, get and try to go win a Super Bowl. We don't need to be publicized anymore because we're the stinking Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, that's why I was buying it, but I'm glad you brought up that layer of it, which is the time commitment when they showcase those damn games. I believe you 100%, and you're right. That would be a hell of a gamble for the league to do that to the Steelers unless they want to come over the top and raise them and say, oh, yeah, we know you're desperate for Rodgers. We know you're going to do this.
Here are these primetime games.
We're going to give you those. You're right. That's another part of the equation, whether they're going to lay down a monster or not.
Here, Laura Rutledge, you can sit down with our guy Mason Rudolph and talk a little bit about what it's like to play quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and nobody wants that. I'm telling you, when Madden would come into town, dude, it was a circus when, the time commitment with Romo and Witten and T.O., and they're all doing their team stuff and then their one-on-ones. And, honestly, once you become a star, I don't need any more publicity. I don't need to see my face out there. I just want to go play a game because if I lose, that's all that matters anyway. So what does it matter if I'm sitting here doing these extra 4 or 5 hours on Saturday or a Sunday leading into a Sunday or Monday night game?
Let me ask you this. Sticking with Rodgers and the Steelers, he sat back yesterday and watched George Pickens get traded to the Dallas Cowboys. What do you think that's doing for Rodgers right now, if it's doing anything as far as him committing to Pittsburgh or not?
I honestly think that Mike Tomlin's managed the situation, and we had Breer on this morning, and he was talking about this. And he goes, you look at the guys who have been Steelers receivers who they've parted ways with, from Martavius Bryant. He had mentioned a couple others. And finally, he said Antonio Brown last. I'm like, okay, you buried the lead there, buddy. Like, that's case 1A for what happens when they leave sometimes Tomlin's nest. But I think, like, hey, they've got DK Metcalf. They just brought in what's-his-name last year from Michigan. Like, they never drafted him a first-round receiver. So having DK and being able to put together some slot guys and some younger guys, I think works pretty well. And the last thing they want to deal with is probably George Pickens, who's crazy talented, but he's also a little crazy. And so you don't need – that's another distraction that probably nobody wants to work with.
And maybe it's addition by subtraction, and that maybe this makes room for him to get a guy that he absolutely trusts that may not be as talented, and he gets a nice Alan Lazard to go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, you can bring in a role guy because you already have DK. Like, that's why I think they traded for him, because they knew they weren't going to keep George Pickens. They're trading, they're getting a third-round back. They got a boatload of picks back. Like, let's get some guys that Aaron's comfortable with and not guys that he has to manage psychologically. You know, Aaron's never really had any of those high-maintenance receivers, and he's had pretty good relationships with all of them. So I think the last thing he wanted to deal with was somebody in a contract year who's saying, you know, get me the damn ball because I need 100 catches and 1,400 yards to go get $40 million a year.
As a former player, when you heard Will Howard and Jack Sawyer on Big Ben Roethlisberger's podcast talking about the weight of the game versus winning a national championship, what were your thoughts?
Now, I also heard your guy Fininkis talking about it too, and I think, honestly, I think all of that can be true. I said, I've got 3 pairs of gold pants. Like, there's guys who I played with who have 4 and 5. And I told someone I would trade one of my pairs of gold pants for a national championship ring in 2005 or a national championship ring in 2003 when I was out there starting and playing. Like, we were so close and had a team that was talented enough to get it done. We just didn't get it done. And I said that, you know, when I was on Get Up with Greenberg. And, like, dude, being the best in the nation at something it's what you chase. And it's not to diminish the game. But I also think what Fininkis said is true. We're 25 years from now, or 20 or 10, when you're talking about it and you don't have any, it's tough. And I joked, we did this, I don't know if I told you this, Ross, with my kids. I go, I don't know why I need to wait till I'm half in the ground. I said, I got all the things out that were valuable to me, my bowl rings, my gold pants. I've got a pair of presidential cufflinks, a couple watches. And we had a snake order draft with my kids from oldest to youngest. I said, pick your guys' stuff. I'm going to write it down so now we don't need to fight about it. And you guys can all have, you know, this ring or that ring or these pants or those pants. And honestly, the national championship ring was the first thing to go. So, like, having a second one of those would have been unbelievable.
This really happened?
Yeah, I did that probably 2 months ago, right around Christmas.
This needed to be televised or something. This is...
I've got it written down. I mean, I was talking him through it because I wanted my youngest son, Caleb. I mean, he was kind of sitting in that honey hole, Roth, when he had the 4 and 5 picks.
Oh,
so that was
back end
good.
of the snake.
The back end of the snake, like the 3-6 and the 4-5. Like, you're not getting the grade A, but you're getting a lot of what you want because you can pick 2 things almost back to back.
What about those? What about those game used when you and I were hosting together? And I think that guy, I don't know if he called in and he wanted a pair of your game used undergarment, like the spandex underneath the football pants. Those would have probably gone very high in the draft.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you'd be amazed. My 14-year-old daughter, dude, she could care less about that. She was going for the shiniest objects. But I'm with you. I mean, the people were calling in asking about that. And Rothman, I always told you I would give you any of the battle trodden undergarments that you desired. So all you got to do is ask.
I will. I've got a few things I got my eye on. Hopefully they're still available. All right. Well, you look like a good poetry major. You came on and straightened out our Longfellow, so we appreciate it.
Hey, Rothman, sometimes when you wake up, I'm already here.
That's right. And remember, pop out at the right time. It's always a good thing.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, BC. Talk to you soon. There he is, Bobby Carpenter. Always there when we need him.
It was great insight, right, from the player's perspective, from Tomlin's perspective, of just the hurdles that you have to go over throughout the week when you have a primetime game. You're just trying to lock in on ball. I get it from their side of things, but I would love to hear from ownership side of things why Florio came out and said Art Rooney isn't a fan of primetime games because Art don't have to do any of that stuff. But either way, great stuff from Bobby right there from the player's perspective.
Yeah, it is. And the only way you could maybe, because we're so built to believe that Aaron just loves Aaron and he would not shy away from being more, promoted or whatever. But it is his final lap. And it didn't go well with New York. Yeah. And I don't think he's a ceremonial guy. I think he does like the spotlight. I think a lot of people do. And he has seen the end of his athletic mortality, so it's probably he's a little more sensitive to it. But I also think that at the end of the day, he's not a ceremonial quarterback. He's not just hanging on to hang on.
No, he wants to go out there and play at a high level. One thing to monitor if he does sign with the Steelers is the relationship between he and Mike Tomlin. Because I don't think, AR, that Aaron Rodgers is going to be allowed to do a lot of the same things that he did with the Jets and push it, from the outside, push the organization around and push Saleh around the way that he did with Mike Tomlin in the Steelers franchise. I don't think those games are getting played in the Steel City. Now, he may not try to do those things, but he's done them at a couple different stops, and he definitely did it in New York with bringing in Lazard. And, look, you bring in Devontae Adams all day and tomorrow. But will he have that same type of power over in Pittsburgh? And will Mike Tomlin allow it is going to be something to monitor if he does sign on with them.
The cat and mouse game that could happen between the league wanting to make sure they accentuate Rodgers and the Steelers versus really saying, hey, we know he wants to play. We know you want him. We know you need him. If you're waiting because you think that we can't go ahead, that little cat-mouse game, I love that he brought that.
Because like Bobby said, your ESPN, Fox, whatever, sitting down with Mason Rudolph ain't cutting it. And you know my rule. When your team is shown in a primetime slot and the graphic comes up of your game being in that slot and they're showing anybody but the quarterback, your team's probably not going to be very good. And I think for the Steelers, if you're rolling out Mason Rudolph every week, you know who's going to be on that graphic? TJ Watt and DK Metcalf and not Mason Rudolph.
We come back with a Buckeye Bulletin, and one NFL team feels they got a steal with this Buckeye. We'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same-game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
This Mother's Day, be direct. Tell Mom she shines without saying a word. At Diamonds Direct, we've curated a meaningful collection of timeless gifts for every budget, from birthstone rings and stackables to diamond pendants, pearls, and stunning earrings. So here's to Mom for her love, her strength, and always putting others first. This year, she deserves a gift that lasts a lifetime, and that's our specialty. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom.
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
We can be twinsies.
to
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
The Peace Lily is so last year.
Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air.
Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Summer is better with True Green, especially at a price this low. For a limited time, get 75% off of your first treatment and enjoy your lawn without overspending. With True Green, you get expert care and a plan tailored to fit your lawn's needs. So it looks like the best while you save big. Let the pros handle the hard work while you enjoy the result. Relax more and keep more money in your pocket. A great lawn has never been this easy or this affordable. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com. Restrictions apply.
Mother's Day is this Sunday. There's still time to show the incredible moms in your life how much you love and appreciate them with a thoughtful gift from Pro Flowers. Ordering takes just a few minutes, and Pro Flowers' large selection of modern arrangements at affordable prices are sure to make you look like a gift-giving pro. So visit proflowers.com/sports or use code SPORTS at checkout for $15 off your Mother's Day order. All Pro Flowers orders are backed by our 7-day freshness guarantee, so you can gift easy with Pro Flowers.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, back to it. Buckeye Bulletin time. And you know, when the 45th pick rolled along in the draft, the Colts were on the clock. And when you talk about a guy who had one of the most, I think, epic games in Ohio State was JT Tuimoloau out against Penn State. Single-handedly wrecked the game and won it. He's 3-time first-team All-Big Ten and 3 years as a starter. And as much as we kind of were clamoring for more sacks to get after the quarterback, he does have the 6th most sacks in Ohio State history during his 4 years here. And it's been a wild deal, but the Colts really do feel like that he is going to be an NFL beast. When he got picked, Maddie, were you kind of in the mode of it's about time, or did he go where you thought he would?
It felt appropriate for me. It really did. And you look at where he's at in the franchise that's trying to figure things out at the quarterback position, which is obviously the most important thing. But what they've done, you know, in back-to-back years is really taking swings on D linemen early in the draft. I mean, they go get JT in the second round of this year's draft. Last year, they go out and get the Latu guy from UCLA, who was a menace coming off the edge there. So you could see what type of picture they're trying to paint is pairing these two guys together, hopefully for years to come, to get after quarterbacks in that division, because it's C.J. Stroud and it's Trevor Lawrence, and we'll see what happens over there in Tennessee with Cam Ward. If they hit on that, then there's going to be a few quarterbacks that you got to deal with a couple times a year that are really good. So for JT, he's got a guy opposite of him that if he hits on his potential, that being Latu, he could stumble into a situation where he could have some advantageous matchups week in and week out.
Yeah, you start looking at certainly the size and the traits I think they've drafted here for sure. You know, I was looking at a little bit of his scouting report. And so he goes round 2, pick 13, 6'4", 265. And I told you, and everyone saw what he could do at Ohio State. And he is rugged. And he does have size. And he does have toughness. And he does play to his size. But they came up with some strengths and some weaknesses. And so the weaknesses are very inside football stuff. average bend with trouble anchoring down against power. Lacks lateral quickness to force outside runs against the boundary. Basic rush plan revolves almost exclusively around power, which means that he does play to his size. What they're asking for there is, can he come up with some counters, some different type of rush moves?
Expand the bag, add some things to the menu.
Not just power.
Yeah.
That he has to come up with, some craft to what he is. Because if all it took was signing a guy who's 6'4", 270, then those guys are around.
Everybody in the league's big. Everybody. You got to fine-tune those skills. You mentioned that Penn State game, just hopping in the hot tub time machine real quick. I mean, 2022 against Penn State, it was 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 1 for a TD, a forced fumble recovery, a pass breakup, and then that touchdown attached to that interception. Like you said, one of the most dominant defensive performances we've seen from an individual in the history of the Ohio State University. It will never be forgotten. It was nuts what he was doing that day. It was like Lawrence Taylor, J.J. Watt, Michael Strahan all put in one that game.
It was special.
Yeah, it was.
Wish him well. Be playing indoors in Indy. We come back, and let's hear from Will Howard. Let's go back to Ben's pod, TLC, and hear from Will Howard on his transfer portal recruitment.
There were a couple teams reaching out. Miami was texting me a lot, and their big pull was, they had a lot of money and they were throwing around money, and then USC was also in the picture, and USC, I thought Lincoln Riley was an unbelievable coach and developed quarterbacks really well, but then Ohio State came into the picture, and it was like the two things I was telling teams.
Still no Penn State.
No Penn State.
Still no James Franklin.
Zero word. I mean, they had Drew and they were good. So
okay.
0 word. The two things that I was telling every team when I was in the portal was, I want to compete for a national championship and I want to elevate my draft stock and develop as a quarterback. And I just felt like those two things, there was no better place than Ohio State for me, in terms of having Ryan Day as my head coach, he was telling me when I was getting recruited, we're going to bring in a guy with NFL experience to be the OC. We brought in Bill O'Brien for 2 weeks. And brought in Kelly. But playing under those two guys, I got so much better this past year. Mm-hmm. I always say I developed as a man at Kansas State. I learned how to be a man there, and I really grew up and learned a lot of things there, like off the field. But on the field, my development really all happened at Ohio State.
You clip that and you play that on a loop if you're Coach Day. Right there. That's what you play at the end. The development will get you right. Our laboratory, you're going to come out as a better football player.
I would love to follow up there, and I haven't listened to this yet. Maybe they did talk about it. Was when you did ultimately commit to Ohio State. What was your sense of having the job versus winning the job?
I don't think he'd give you a truthful answer. I would love to just read the body language on that, though. I would love to. Because, there had to be some type of, hey, you're our guy. Keep it on the hush. You're our guy.
He just said, I went to Ohio State to elevate my draft stock. The only way you can do that is by playing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm wondering, when you make that leap of faith where it sounds like he took less money to come here, I would think he would be entitled to say to them, I have other opportunities. This is what I want to be. Yeah. This is what I think you think I can be. Is that going to be realized? Because I cannot take a chance in my last lap around the track,
right,
losing the job.
I have to imagine that it was the perfect blend of everything for Will. He mentioned Miami. That's a great school, great location. They were paying potentially good money there, but I'm sure the money was pretty doggone good here. But you don't have the Jeremiah Smiths of the world. You don't have the Quinshon Junkins of the world. You don't have, prior to them getting hit or injured, a first-round lineman, right? There are two of them, and Donovan Jackson and Josh Simmons in front of you. So it was the complement of everything. Good money, good team, development. Worked out well for Will, and he will be remembered forever for being the leader of that team and being the leader of, more importantly, a national championship team.
That is today's Buckeye Bulletin. All right, we'll get into the third hour. We'll include a gold jacket Thursday. But up next, after a SportsCenter update, the team that took the big jump as far as weapons. How high did they go? We'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you've recently seen a photo of an older Baker Mayfield fresh off a bender, it's just Bo Bishop. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 11th. Just like Mom to the Rescue, Oakland Nursery has their annual flat sale with huge savings worthy of Mom. Select flats of marigolds, begonias, petunias, and impatiens, normally $19.99, now just $15.99 during this huge sale. 32 plants per flat, all for just $15.99, and all for Mom. Oakland Nursery is 35 acres of outdoor shopping and pure gardening pleasure. For 85 years, Central Ohio moms have looked forward to flowering Mother's Day gifts from Oakland Nursery.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around a golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-2845-44. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes! Let's go!
That's you taking another sip of your Do the Do.
Spring showers revealing roofing or siding issues? Trust the pros at Newman Roofing for expert care, white glove service, and quality you can count on. Schedule your estimate today and take advantage of special financing options. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Here, care is where you need it. With over 350 primary care providers in Central Ohio, expert care is minutes away. See how we care for all of you at mountcarmelforyou.com.
All power, zero compromise. Eagle cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just 2 deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. We've got our first casualty of the Major League Baseball season as Cole's Pittsburgh Pirates have fired manager Derek Shelton. The Pirates have the third worst record in the league at 12-26 and are currently on a 7-game losing streak. The Cincinnati Reds wrap up their series in Atlanta with the Braves tonight at 7:15. You can hear that over on ESPN Columbus beginning at 6:45. The Columbus Clippers lost to the Indianapolis Indians 4-3 this afternoon. One game in the NBA playoffs tonight. The Minnesota Timberwolves hosting the Golden State Warriors at 8:30. The Warriors up 1-0 in that series. Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. The Washington Capitals host the Carolina Hurricanes at 7. At 9:30, the Edmonton Oilers are in Vegas to face the Knights. This one's sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give Mark Levy a call at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or online, sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, back at it. Final hour of the program. Gold Jacket Thursday. Jan Stenerude, the former incredible place kicker, first pure place kicker to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Played for the Chiefs, Green Bay, and my Vikes to end it. Won a Super Bowl with Kansas City. I'm getting a little tired of bringing on guys that have beaten my team in a Super Bowl. And he had a lot to do with that in Super Bowl IV, kicking what was a Super Bowl record for many, many years. It was a 48-yarder right out of the gate in that Super Bowl. And they were massive underdogs to the Vikes. But the only consolation I take from the Vikes losing 4 Super Bowls, and I was playing golf with a Bills fan the other day. I said, well, we lost 4, but we didn't lose 4 in a row.
That's
all right. So that's
I don't know what would happen to me if my team went through
4 in
that.
a row. I think gets to be. I don't know how you recover.
That's
from
what
that.
I'm saying. Mentally, you're in the darkest of places at that point. Hey, I take you over to the shoe right now. Take you over to the shoe right now.
No,
you don't even know what I'm going to say, and you're already doubting yourself. You don't even know what I'm going to say. I got faith in you. I take you over there right now. I line up a 50-yard kick, and next to this is $1 million in cash. You get 10 attempts. Are you walking out of the shoe with that $1 million, or am I lighting it on fire like the Joker did in The Dark Knight with all that money?
Shot at a 15-yarder. You just said 50.
50 for $1 million. All right, I'll shave it down.
Not even
$500K for a 30-yard field goal.
No training?
Out of 10, just 1 out of 10.
Practice? Nothing?
No.
It's not even a chance.
Who is he, McAfee on game day?
Yeah, I mean, come on, this is ridiculous.
30 yards for $500K? I think you could do that.
On a tee?
1 out of 10?
On a tee or somebody holding it?
Yeah, we'll put it on a tee for you.
Stanford Steve will be down there refereeing the thing.
Guys, no. I've never kicked. I don't do
You're
that.
an athlete.
Yeah, but I don't. I've
play
never
pickleball.
But I've never kicked. That's not even like that's an art form. That's high science. That's like working with mercury.
TLC, 30 yards, $500K. You making 1 out of 10?
1 out of 10?
Okay, if you're giving me 10.
That's what I'm saying. 1 out of 10.
You're basically getting 5 warm-ups, and then you can kind of zero in on the last 5.
It'd be close
so
for
it's
me.
from the 20-yard line.
That's not that hard.
You could do this
with no rush, no block. Right on a tee, you get no rush. Yeah, that probably could be done.
$500K. Yeah.
Come on. Where are you in this 50-yarder?
I think I could get 1 out of 10. The 50.
I mean, because you said you'd make multiple half-court shots.
I did
so
not.
how many 50-yarders?
I said I would knock in 1 for sure. I know I'm making a half-court shot.
I gave him 10 half-court shots. He's guaranteed he'd make
I'm
one.
making 1.
I can't kick a football 50 yards. I can kick a football 30 yards.
Yeah.
It's just the accuracy is going to be a big problem. But you give me 10 tries, I mean, that's a coin flip, and I'll take my side of the coin.
I probably got a better chance to hit a half-court shot 1 out of 10 than I would a 30-yard field goal.
Yeah, but I think that's true for a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of luck involved, but I mean, listen, the second it leaves your hands, whether it's got a chance, and then the second it leaves your toe, whether it's got a chance.
You lining
And I
it
don't
up
think I would do soccer style. I wouldn't go Jan Stenerud. I'd probably go straight on and try to hit it right where you need to hit it. Soccer style, you're talking about just a duck hook, toe hook left, low and left. I'm not doing that. You're not doing soccer style, are you? Are you going?
No.
Yeah, straight on. We got a better shot straight on.
I think I'm going to go soccer style for me. Personally.
Side of the foot.
There's no chance I'm knocking in a 50-yard field goal. Like, I think I could get close, but the accuracy would be way off. Like, distance-wise, I think I could get relatively close. Left, right, I'm going to be all over the place. 30 yards, I'm walking out of there with 500.
You mean we're going to the side camera to see exactly where that thing came down just below the crowd? That's how close? Yeah. How close are the Dallas Cowboys to being in a top-tier weaponry now? And so, with Dak, who's their backfield now?
At running back right now? I think we're still kind of going by committee. I don't know if there really is that horse that you're really looking for over there in Dallas. So prior to this, like, they brought in, didn't they bring in somebody from Denver? Who did they bring in?
Javonte Williams.
Yes.
And they drafted Jaden Blue.
Yeah.
And they signed Miles Sanders. Wow. And they drafted Phil Maffa.
So from Clemson.
Yeah.
So it feels.
And he's a horse.
He was a dude for Clemson, no doubt. So maybe one of those guys will emerge, but it's still wait and see mode for me when it comes to their running backs. The two-headed monster at receiver, and you have Ferguson at tight end. I like it. I don't know if they're in my top 5, though, AR. If we're doing that game right now. Wide receiver, tight end rooms, or just all the playmakers?
Well, I mean, number one for me is Detroit. Who's the number one offense in the NFL?
I mean, when you roll out there with Gibbs and Montgomery, and I know Barry Sanders came out and said that's the best duo in the league right now.
And Amon-Ra.
Right. And before you even get to those, no doubt, right? Like, so they're deserving of being in that top 3 to 5.
Would you take them over Cincinnati?
Quarterback included or no?
Yeah, I think you have to include the trigger, man. It would only make everything work.
Where does Miami stand in all of this?
Listen,
A-Chain is a problem.
He is a problem.
And we don't have to look in this conversation. We don't have to worry about Waddle's availability, which can be dicey. They're three-headed monsters for real. It's for I would take Detroit over them, no doubt. To your question, though, AR, Cincinnati or Detroit, Cincinnati wins the wide receiver part of this debate. But I think Detroit wins the tight end and running back portion of
100%.
it. And so because of that and how good Amon-Ra is, I would take Detroit right now.
Yeah, even though you would take Burrow
over Goff,
of course.
Yeah.
So here are the top. This is what I wanted. Where are we putting Dallas now that they have Pickens? Because that's why I went to the running back room. I don't know how much you can really count on that. So Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, while they're great, and Jake Ferguson, whoever else, like, they're not. I agree with you. I'm not putting them in over. Well, the quarterback. See, Cole had a good point. The quarterback could tip this thing.
Go to break.
Go to break?
I'm kidding. Just because you said I had a good point. Just finish your thought there.
I see. I thought maybe we were evacuating the building again.
No, I think the flickering lights are over.
That's happened twice today.
I know. They emailed. They said they're done. However, they are going to start doing that quarterly.
Yeah.
So now 4 times a year, we got to deal with the lights turning off.
Did you notice how we didn't even miss a beat when the lights went on?
It's happened a few times.
We didn't miss a beat.
We handled it well. We stood in the pocket. We had poise.
I thought maybe the clickers from the Last of Us were taking over.
Playing through the elements.
How about we play a little guess game here? Ready for this?
Sure.
All right. You're in on this, too.
Okay. I want you to make me guess Hall of Fame kickers.
I want you guys. No, because you named 2 dead people. I would say, can you guys guess the top 5 scoring offenses in the NFL last year?
Well, I know my team was one of them.
They were.
So we're 1 down, TLC.
I'm putting the Bengals up there.
Man, with the shootouts that they got.
Lost a lot of shootouts.
Are they in the top 5, though? Yeah, I think they might be in that.
They're not.
Oh.
Really?
Hey, you know who's really good on 3rd and 4th down last year was Washington. You want to put the Commanders in the top 5?
Are you just talking points per game from last year?
Points per game. So I can't really say if it's offense because wouldn't you count the defensive scores if there are some?
You got to bake that in there.
Sorry. It's a trick question in a way, but I don't think it's that bad because I don't think we're baking in that.
Defensive scores?
There weren't that many punt returns for touchdowns, so I think we're good here. And like field position
Detroit's
would
in that?
factor in too.
Detroit's number 1.
Yeah, Detroit, Baltimore.
How comfortable are you with the Super Bowl chance?
Philly, yes.
Locking it? No.
Nope. Nope. So you have 2 of them.
Okay. Baltimore.
You need 3. You need 3 more.
We have Baltimore, Detroit.
No Cincy. We already said that.
Let's think of the playoff
And maybe
teams.
you have said teams. We're starting from scratch here.
The Vikings made the playoffs.
I'll tell you what.
The Rams made the playoffs.
I don't want to go to a break because then he may pull a CB and start looking it up.
No. Hey, I take trivia more seriously than that. I would rather miss a trivia question with my integrity.
CB is pretty much an expert at that, of trying to, with critical acclaim, like somehow he magically knew.
All right, we'll have a few minutes to think on
Okay.
this, but we got 2 down. We need 3 to go.
Done.
Yeah.
All right.
The top 5 points per game teams in the NFL. And I will tell you that.
See, the tricky part, too, is sometimes you can get like a team that doesn't have a good defense, like the Bengals have. I'm trying to think of those teams.
But they all got to be playoff teams, right? You can't be top 5 in the league and score and miss the playoffs.
I'll tell you they're all playoff teams.
All right, so there we go. We got 14 teams to choose from.
I don't think there was a top 10 team that missed the
I just thought of it. I got one more. It's Tampa. They have to be in that. They're a playoff team last year, right? TLC?
We might.
I don't know. I mean, that's
think so.
kind of a weird team to just throw out.
They've been in the postseason the last 2 years.
Yeah.
With Baker.
Because it wasn't Atlanta, because Atlanta blew it against Washington, right?
I would think Tampa's in this as well.
Okay. We'll come back. Your team cut a weapon recently. Their reasoning is not very viable. That's next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall from my friends at Orthopedic One, Central Ohio's most trusted orthopedic practice. 2 years ago, I was actually experiencing hip pain for the first time in my life, and I knew I needed the best. So I chose Orthopedic One for my physical therapy needs. And in a matter of weeks, I was rotating that golf swing better than before, and I was the longest hitter in my group again. So be like me and trust Orthopedic One. Several convenient locations around Central Ohio. To find a physician or location near you, go to www.orthopedicone.com.
If my buttery smooth voice represents the photos in your social media feed,
And this is closer to what real life is like. Social media can be fun, but remember, it's only showing you
the filtered version of life. So when social media is stressing you out, check in on yourself and remember, it's not the whole story. For more tips on reducing your stress, go to mha.ohio.gov/check-in. A message from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at the Honda dealership here in Central Ohio, Germain Honda of Dublin. You know the brand, you know the reliability and the styling. Now get to know the deals. Grab a new 25 Honda HR-V, a 25 Accord SE, or even a 25 CR-V LX all-wheel drive for 0% up to 36 months. Talk to my man Rich. Get the right vehicle, the right deal at the right dealer. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
The Buckeye Show.
When you have a guy that's as good as Jeremiah Smith is, we're just trying to come up with a sane place for our superlatives.
The Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light and sponsored by CareSource.
Weeknights at 6 on The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens of your latest forecast. We're looking at some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder this afternoon. Temperatures up in the upper 60s. We'll drop down into the 40s tonight as things dry out. Sunny and 60s for your Friday. We'll be back to 70s this weekend with more sunshine Saturday and Mother's Day. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, Bet365 time.
Yes, sir, brother, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians, and make sure you're keeping an eye out for Cleveland Guardians Boost and Super Boost the day of games. If you're a new customer, here's what you got to do. You got to bet $5, and then you get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. So make sure you download the Bet365 app today and check out their website as well.
So, again, last night, if you just bet the Boston Celtics on Bet365 on the money line, you won the payout. You got the early payout. They went up 20 again. Lost the game.
Crazy.
By the way, I understand Tatum's the guy you want to have the ball in his hands. That shot, where he went, maybe it's great defense by the Knicks. I'll have to give them credit, especially the block at the end, of course. But he just dribbled himself into a nightmare. First of all, he's going left, away from the basket, into a very easy help double team because he's not giving the ball up. He's not in a draw foul position anymore. And then he has to go for a fadeaway that's just an easy block. Yeah. It was really because he went down the runway and slammed it just before. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like, I'm okay with him not calling a timeout. That's fine. But, boy, they have just botched this. How do you botch those leads?
Games 1 and 2 have mirrored themselves. It's crazy how they ended with the Bridges steals, and the Boston Celtics have not made any three-point shots. They're living by the three, but right now they're dying by the three. 10 of 40 last night. They missed 33s last night. The game before, they missed north of 40. And so their ability to not mold into anything else is killing them. Credit to the Knicks. They keep swinging. Bridges, Brunson, they wake up offensively in the fourth quarter after doing nothing really all game. And so, Celtics, man, they are down bad. And we could be looking at a Knicks appearance in the Eastern Conference Finals, which not a lot of people had on their bingo cards.
This is crazy time in the NBA playoffs. All right, I feel good. Finally got off the schneid. Got a win last night with the Leafs. Took the value on them yesterday, and they won. They beat Florida, so it was a good game. Probably going to stay away from the ice. Do we go back to the Castellanos home run tonight?
The Pope.
Like, I'm just saying, maybe because we bet it on the tragedy, and I'm wondering if now we bet it again today. So it's, let's see, Casti is playing at Tampa.
Okay, that outdoor facility now, no longer in that dome.
He's plus 450 to hit a dinger. I have him on my fantasy team, as you know. And let's see when the last time he hit a homer, because that might be helpful. Thank you. You've been helpful. I actually did it in the previous game. He did it on May 6th. He's already hit one against them. Didn't do one yesterday. 1 for 5. So I'm going to go back to the well, plus 450.
I'm looking at a dinger special as well, and a guy you may know. His name is Shohei Ohtani. You may have heard of him. So over his last 3 games, the bat is alive. 4 hits over his last 3 games, 2 home runs over his last 3 games as well. So I'm going plus 200 for Shohei Ohtani against the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight to touch them all.
Can I interest you in a Bet365 boosted 2-leg parlay? That has Shohei in it.
Okay, what do you got?
Shohei 2 hits and Bryce Harper 2 hits plus 1062. We need multiple hits out of Harper and Shohei.
Mm-hmm. I wish I knew who was pitching against the Phillies tonight, but I'm going to stick with the dinger.
What's his name? Pepiot or whatever
Ryan Pepiot for the Rays.
Yeah.
I'm going to just stay with the dinger for Shohei.
Okay.
It's a lot to ask. 4 hits from 2 guys. I'm going to go with 1 hit for one.
That'd be nice.
The best player in the league. No doubt it would. But they'd like to fool you with trickery out there in the desert. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Bills.
Bills what, number 1?
No,
or just in there?
You already told us the Lions are number 1.
Yeah, I did tell you the Lions are number 1.
So we got Lions, Ravens, Bucks.
This is
Was the Bucks confirmed?
Top 5 points per game.
I think they're in there.
All right, we'll lock in Buccaneers.
You guys guessed Cincinnati and Philly. Those were both wrong.
Correct.
So you have 2 strikes against you. You also have 2. I gave you the Detroit one, and you got Baltimore, so you have 2. You need to come up with 3. You're going Buffalo, and he's going Tampa?
Yeah.
Okay, they're both in there. Well
so
done.
we got 1 spot.
1 more to go.
We got...
You said Washington was not in, correct?
I never locked that in, so I don't know.
So the Eagles weren't in. The Bengals weren't in.
The Eagles and Bengals were 2 strikes.
And let me give you something interesting. The Kansas City Chiefs,
I'm not putting
15th.
They are. They won.
Made the Super Bowl at 15th.
And won it last year.
Points per game.
And then last year they won it with a dicey offense. You know why? Because their defense is dominant. Doesn't get talked about enough. I was talking about it. Like Mahomes was getting all the flowers. I get it.
Kansas City Chiefs have averaged about 21, 22 points a game 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And
where's their defense been? Right there at the top of the league.
We are throwing out
defense. They're under 20.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Playoff team, but ain't no way they were top. No. Okay, so here's what we got. And we're just thinking out loud here. This is the radio. We think out loud. Commanders are an option.
Correct.
Rams and Packers are an option. On the AFC side, the Bills play the Broncos if you want to catch COVID-19 and catch a real wild card with the Broncos. And the Texans and Chargers played each other round 1.
It wasn't the Chargers, I think, with their style.
I don't think it was the Texans either.
No, I agree.
I remember thinking the Texans were just caught in the right division.
Right, I agree with you.
So we could go Broncos, Commanders, Packers, Rams. Final 4. Vikings too, but the Vikings had a weird spot in the middle where they were winning a lot of low-scoring games because they weren't good, and then Rothman got mad at me for calling his team frauds. But then they bounced back in the end.
I don't think I got mad at you for calling them.
I said they were fake good or something.
Yeah, but what was our argument that day? It was more of that you were crushing them. I think
I loved them earlier.
For your own expectations, and they were falling below yours. So I don't think anybody even said they were supposed to be great.
Well, that's always a tough one when you're talking sports, when you have a team like the Blue Jackets this year. The expectations changed all throughout the year, so it's like, okay, do we compare them to the preseason and call this a success, or do we call this a failure because they bombed in March?
I'm always where we started. I'm always where we started with expectations, me personally.
Okay.
I want to go with Washington. Me. Are you in with me on that, or do you want to go with another one of those teams?
Yeah, I'm down with Washington.
Was it Washington there?
It was.
There we go. Hold up. We need some theme music. We're getting both of our
I
theme songs.
want to say that's pretty impressive. I'm fairly impressed. And I want to believe that this was legit because we did take a commercial break. So I'm going to trust my boys.
There is no way I would ever cheat in trivia. Or at least if I did, I would tell you, and then it would be just a giant joke. But I would never, actually withhold that.
All right, well done. Your guys, Justin Tucker, even though, the investigation is ongoing, and it's a tricky one. Talked about this when it came out. There's no way to talk about this on the radio other than saying, because what's going to happen is you're going to lean into what your gut tells you. And your gut may be completely off. Now, there may be evidence or something that you've read that tells you, like the NFL is investigating the allegations, and they're very similar to Deshaun Watson's. Yeah. And Tucker's denied them all. And so the Ravens have cut him. This was a guy who's on track for a Hall of Fame career and may still be. But he's going to be a free agent. Yeah. So in theory, he can sign with any team. Now, everyone's got to wait. Everyone's got to wait because he could get suspended, and then all of a sudden you're screwed. That's not going to happen. So you got to wait. But it's a little odd. I thought that the Ravens didn't wait to let this play out because he's a damn good kicker. I know he had, this year he was bad, and we both said that maybe this was all weighing on him. I have no idea what's going to happen here because if he did what he's accused of, it's awful. If he's didn't do what he's accused of, it's equally awful. So how do you answer that?
Well, I think the legal stuff, I, like you, have no idea where we're headed with that. But as far as the football part of it, the writing was on the wall as soon as we got done with the draft. When they drafted a kicker in the 6th round, Tyler Loop from Arizona, to me, that was like, well, Tucker's done. He's gone. And what's interesting about the decision or decisions that they've made just during the draft was you draft a kicker to replace a guy that is dealing with some legal accusations, but then you go draft a kid in the 2nd round in Mike Green, who some people said could have been a top 15, 20 pick based off his talent, who's had some ugly stuff swirling around his name in the legal realm as well. So in-house, they feel like they're vetting these situations as good as you possibly can to come down to these decisions. And clearly, to me, they feel like on the Tucker side of things, the intel that they have is not good. And they believe wholeheartedly that the info that they have is true. I don't know how I can look at it any other way.
He may have been coming off. He was coming off the worst season of his career.
It was brutal.
You could make the case, like I did, that this was weighing on him, but that doesn't make him guilty. But them cutting a talent like this tells me that they believe there must be some evidence that's going to support a potential suspension, and they have to get ahead of it. We'll come back with Jan Stenerude, Pro Football Hall of Fame kicker. On a Gold Jacket Thursday, Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Patients everywhere are experiencing joint pain relief thanks to QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. So how does this non-surgical approach work? QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Aaron Wolkoff explains.
It's like when you get a paper cut, and the cells that come onto that scene first stop the bleeding, and then it recruits more cells to form new skin and new soft tissue. And then you look down a week later, 2 weeks later, and it's like nothing happened, and that paper cut never existed.
In this same way, QC Kinetics uses your natural biologics to help repair and restore aching knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
We take those same similar cells in different areas that are arthritic, are painful, and we cause this kind of internal self-healing that can resolve patients' pain.
Relief without surgery. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
Call QC Kinetics 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
All right, it is a Gold Jacket Thursday here on Rothman and Ice. Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and what a privilege this is because it's so unique to have on this guy with his story. A 6-time All-League selection, played in 2 AFL All-Star games, 4 AFC, NFC Pro Bowls. He was the outstanding offensive player in the 72 Pro Bowl. And really, I'll sum it up this way. One of the greatest to ever put a toe to a football, Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 91, the one and only Jan Stenerude. Jan, welcome back to Ohio.
Thank you very much. It was a real pleasure to be back.
You know, knowing your story and coming to America to pursue a dream of ski jumping, and I guess something funny happened along the way, but I wonder if you ever think about what might have been if you didn't stumble into that football and you stayed with ski jumping. You ever wonder what might have happened?
Well, my plan was to become an engineer. And and I was graduating from high school in the May of '62, and right before the graduation, I get a letter from Montana State that they offered me a full-ride Nordic ski scholarship that was jumping and cross country, and it was from the coach, Bob Beck at Montana State, and they had one student there already from Montana from Norway on the ski scholarship at Montana State, and his name was Thor Fagerås, and I recognized the name because he had won the junior national championship in Nordic combined 2 years in a row, and then his younger brother won the next 2 years, and his younger brother went on to win the silver medal in the 1964 Olympics. Now, I was a promising ski jumper, but to make the Olympics, no, I don't think I would have done that, although I did have the second longest ski jump in the Norwegian Junior National Championship in 1962. So I was pretty darn good. But for me to have the same story in skiing as it turned out in football, that would not have happened. I don't think it wouldn't have happened. I was one of the best junior jumpers in the country. Because my plan was to go to Montana State, become an engineer, and go back and live in Norway. That's what my plan.
Wow. Yeah, and talk about how we transition, or how you transition, from ski jumping at Montana State into a Hall of Fame kicker. When did that moment happen? Tell the story of when you went out there on the field and became a kicker.
Well, I heard so many versions. I hope the one that I'm telling you is true. But so many people had told me that they did this, so that was the first. I remember exactly what happened. I played a lot of soccer as a kid. That was my summer sport in Norway. We all play soccer. So when I got to Montana State, part of my workout to get my legs in good shape for the ski season was running the stadium steps all the time, almost every day in the fall. So I'd done that. So that my junior year, my third year in school, I was running the stadium steps again. And the kicker on the team was down the stadium kicking field goals. And I went down there and said, Dale, his name was Dale Jackson. I played a lot of soccer. I haven't kicked any kind of a ball for a long time. I just wanted to kick a ball. So I kicked the ball with a toe like people did in those days. And then after a couple of attempts, I thought, can you kick with the side of your foot? And he said, yes, I think you can. You can kick a football with the side of your foot. So I took 2 or 3 steps and kicked it and did that. So I did that several times, and unbeknownst to me, the basketball coach had seen me from his office window. His name was Roger Kraft, and he had run over to the football coach, Jim Sweeney, who later became a very famous coach at Fresno State. Told him about me, but Sweeney said, what the heck does the basketball coach know about field goals? He didn't pay any attention to it. My last home game, before that last home game in 1964, my junior year, I would run the stadium steps. The team had a light practice in the football stadium, and all of a sudden I hear the coach's voice yelling, hey, Skier, can you get your butt down here? Here you can kick. And I put the ball up on the tee. I never kicked the ball off a tee before. I just been kicking the grass when I was there with Dale. And they want me to kick off on the 40-yard line like a kickoff. And some of this big football player was standing around looking at his skin and skier, I guess. And the first kick, it went like a squid kick. I had put the ball wrong on the tee. I was leaning too much back. So the coach says, can you try one more? So I adjusted the ball on the tee a little bit for the second kickoff, and I hit it perfectly. I kicked from the 40-yard line like a kickoff. I had a slight breeze behind me, but not strong, but the ball went through the goalpost and into the seats, and it was 70 yards to the goalpost and into the seats, and they got quiet, and the coach said, Sweeney said again, can you do that again? And I said, I think so. So I kicked 4 or 5 more times, and they all ended up in the seats behind the playing field.
That's awesome.
So he put his arm on my shoulder, and he said, what are you doing tomorrow? And I knew what he was talking about. They were playing their last football game the next day. But he told me, he said, I want you to be in pregame warm-up. You are not eligible. But I want you to be in pregame warm-up and get used to the crowd and the full crowd. At Montana State was 8,000 people. I did not inform him or tell him that I ski jumped in Oslo a couple of years earlier in front of 80,000 people. So I didn't think the crowd was going to be a problem. But that's how I got started. Then I went out for spring practice and made the team.
Wonderful. Talking with Jan Stenerude, Pro Football Hall of Famer, the first pure place kicker to enter the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Chiefs Hall of Famer, Packers Hall of Famer, finished with my Vikes. Super Bowl IV, you got my Vikes. You were huge underdogs, and you opened the scoring with a Super Bowl record 48-yarder. What do you remember about Hank Stram attempting that in the Super Bowl, and what did it do for you and the team when you nailed that 48-yarder, do you feel, as big underdogs?
Well, as you remember, we were big underdogs. We were 13 and 14-point underdogs. The Vikings had won 12 games in a row, I think. And all of the year before, the Packers won the first 2 Super Bowls pretty convincingly. The first one against the Chiefs, actually, and then against the Raiders the second. But Super Bowl III, Baltimore was in the NFL, and the Jets, of course, in the AFL. And Baltimore was favored by 18 points, and the Jets beat them 16-7. So still the next year, because of the NFL superiority, which I thought they had, we were actually 14 points underdogs. And the field, we get to Tulane Stadium. This is before the Superdome is built, and the tarp had a lot of holes in it. And it rained the night before. And it was a windy, cold day, and there were a lot of muddy places on the field. So I put mud cleats that was 1.5 inches long on my left shoe. And sure enough, the first field was going to be right from one of the muddiest places. And I was very concerned about my footing. But 48 was not a problem for me at all in those days. So I kicked it, hit it pretty. I didn't slip, and I kicked it pretty, well through. And I also had kicked the opening kickoff out of the playing field, and I did that again after that first field goal. And then we got 2 more field goals. And we had tremendous defense. So we got ahead 9-0. And I think a lot of other guys felt that if he can get 9 points with our defense, very good chance of winning. So, no, Hank just kind of encouraged me and joked around. But I was concentrated so hard the whole game, I didn't really want to talk to anybody until the game was over. There was one guy, though, that bugged me on the sideline. We had little warm-up jackets on, and he wanted my warm-up jacket after the game. And I said, well, I tell you what, you can do that, but don't talk to me till after the game. That guy turned out to be Pat O'Brien. He had done the national anthem. He was actually reciting the national anthem before the game. But I figured he was an important person since he was on the sideline. But other than that, all I in my own just thinking about what my responsibility was the whole game. Of course, you seen Hank on ESPN, but he was wired for sound. But that's how Hank acted when we were winning. If you lost the game, it was no fun at all.
No, and I've watched those NFL films. They're wonderful. I'm so happy you're back in Canton. And I know we only have a couple more minutes here, but I wanted to get your feeling about being back in Canton, being the first place kicker to be in there. And there aren't many. And what that has meant to you over the years and how you feel this weekend will go being back there in football heaven.
Well, I feel very fortunate because it's almost like a fairy tale in some way. You come from a small country in Scandinavia, Norway, and then you go to Montana State. And I remember in those days they were talking about it. In those days I looked a little bit like Danny Kaye, I guess. And I talked about a Danny Kaye lookalike. And they were saying that they were going to make a film about Danny. He was going to be me, Danny Kaye. And the basketball coach, who was 6'9", he joked and said he was going to be Mickey Rooney in the film, in the basketball coach. So it's kind of when I think back, it's hard to believe that it happened, but it did work out that way. A lot of side trips along the way, and some few setbacks, and a lot of good things. So it is kind of hard to believe, but it's true. I'm here.
It's a great story, and you've earned every bit of it, and we're thrilled you're there. Jan Stenerude will be the Pro Football Hall of Famer at the Hall this Saturday from 10 to 11:45. A Hall of Famer at the Hall, in the lobby, in the theater. You can't miss him. He'll be the one in the gold jacket, and he's earned it. Soak it up, Jan. I'm thrilled to have you on the program. Continue to be well and enjoy it. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks so much. Absolutely my pleasure. I enjoyed it.
Outstanding. 75th all-time team, NFL 100th all-time team, Chiefs Hall of Famer, Packers Hall of Famer, number 3, retired by the Chiefs, 9 All-Pros, and started out as an All-American ski jumper, and crazy thing happened along the way, and he leaned into it. Unbelievable. Great story. Hope you guys go up to the Pro Football Hall of Fame this weekend. I'd love to go and just chat with him. That was a great story about Pat O'Brien, who did the Star Spangled Banner to the accompaniment of Doc Severinsen on the trumpet for the national anthem opening of the Super Bowl IV in 1970. And I guess he was invited to do it because of his role as Newt Rockne. So it had to be surreal for him to be coming from Norway and not knowing anything about American college campus life. And then, my goodness, dream just goes the other way, and he's the first ever to go into Canton. All right, we come back with Tell the Truth, Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT. Kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
When you're starting a home improvement project, a few big questions always come up. Who can I trust? Will they be there if something goes wrong? And lastly, how much is this going to cost me? At Newman Roofing, we've been answering those questions for over 30 years. As a family-owned and operated company that takes pride in every aspect of the job, with family members involved in each department of the company, we treat your home like it's our own. That means clear communication, no shortcuts, and a white glove experience from start to finish. And when it comes to cost, we get it. That's why we offer flexible financing options so you can get the quality your home needs at a price that works for your budget. Don't just take our word for it. With over 700 five-star reviews on Google, families across Central Ohio are sharing their Newman Roofing experience. For roofing, siding, and gutter solutions built around family, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand, listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Join the Reds and their quest for the coveted Ohio Cup in a weekend series against the Cleveland Guardians, May 16th through the 18th. On Saturday, May 17th, rev your engines for Reds Racing Night to celebrate the Reds' participation in this summer's MLB Speedway Classic at Bristol. Fans in attendance will receive a Mr. Reds race car bobblehead presented by Kroger while supplies last. Secure your seats now at reds.com/tickets.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit casterconnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. For all your window needs, visit windownation.com.
All right, loose cannon, take us home.
All righty. By the way, Rothman, real quick.
Yeah, buddy.
Did you work in Chicago prior to coming here, or did you just live in Chicago growing up?
Worked about an hour and a half west of there.
Okay.
In Rockford, Illinois.
Okay, so I won't ask you if you think the Pope knows who you are.
Hyde Park, is that where he was? I may have run into him down at the Museum of Science and Industry at some point.
As I'm sure many of you know, there's a new Pope, and he is American, and he's from Chicago. Do you think the new Pope has ever in his life listened to the score?
I've seen this being tossed around Twitter today.
Twitter.
About since he lived in Chicago and
he went to Villanova. Did you say that already?
Yes.
Okay. Went to Villanova.
Do you think he's ever filled out a March Madness bracket?
Yes.
My cousin wants to know.
Yes, that's a basketball school. He definitely, to me, has done that. Hey, or you think he listened to the score up there?
I would have no clue whether he had any interest in sports.
We're surmising. Hey, this is actually a great one for radio. If you say I surmise, you're already saying that I don't have any evidence, and then you can just say whatever you want, and your track's already covered.
So that's like the new version of with all due respect?
Or allegedly.
Yeah, there you go. Because after the respect line comes disrespect more times.
Maddie made the best point of all. The fact that he's a Nova Wildcat, and there's a chance that he would get caught up in that. Plus, I'm trying to think where he would have been in the 80s when Nova was beating Georgetown.
85, right?
Yes. Where would he have been then? That would be the question. He wouldn't have been there, right?
Was 1985 the first year they expanded from 32 to 64?
No. That seems like they would have had 64 before that. I could be very wrong on that. Why? Does that stick out to you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that has nothing to do with anything. But yeah, Villanova Georgetown was the championship. Ewing's.
Well, there was a guy from my high school that played on that Nova team.
Oh, really?
He wasn't a starter.
Really?
Yep. And we were constantly in like detention together. He has a great name. He's the guy. He's not McClain. He's not the goggle. He's the goggle guy hugging Rolly Massimino after the title game. His name is Veltra Dawson. Veltra Dawson, and he and I were in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
Here's what I know. All this Pope stuff that I've been seeing today makes me want to go back and watch. I don't know if it's the TV show or a movie, Conclave, that came out, I think in the last few months, with the guy, the lead actor is, I believe, the same guy that plays Lord Voldemort in Harry Potter. So I might have to check that out now, because Pope stuff's got me in the mood today.
Getting yanked all over the place.
How old were you when you realized that you were not going to be a pro athlete?
So I remember vividly the day my dad and I were making college visits. And I was like, Pops, I'm just not that guy. I'm not built that way. And I remember having a conversation with him at an Applebee's. And I said, I think I want to go down another road. I think I want to stay in sports, but be in sports media somehow. So it was during those visits where something in me clicked, like, kind of wasting our time. More importantly, their money at that time. But something came over me. I was like, the guys that I've seen play at that level, that I've been around, whether it's summer leagues and all that type of stuff, like, I'm not that dude. So it was an Applebee's up in Michigan, AR, sitting down with my pops. And I remember looking at him and saying, I think I'm done with baseball, but I want to stick with sports.
What school were you looking at?
I was at Oakland, up in that area. Oakland University up there.
Grizzlies?
Yeah. So I was up there that day.
Who's their head coach? Has been there for the basketball team for like 40 years?
Basketball?
Yeah, never mind.
Why? Is this a trick question or something?
No, it's just
his brain just firing.
What is going on over there?
I'm just trying to show Ice that I know what school he's talking about.
You knew the mascot.
No, I know, but let's continue that conversation. Who are you talking about?
I don't know. That's why I asked you what his name is. But their basketball coach has been there for no joke.
Who was the kid that went crazy during the tournament for Oakland, the three-point shooter?
Golke or whatever?
Yes, that kid.
Yeah, he was going there.
So you're talking about his coach?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let me look this up for you guys real quick. Let me see.
We can't leave the show on that. Greg Campy?
Campy. That's it.
And how long do you think he's been there?
40-something years.
Wow, I didn't think he was that old.
He's 69.
But you're right, he has.
69.
Great call.
Been there since 84.
I would not have known that he was there that long. Wow. He was there, ironically, his first year was the year we were just talking about with Nova.
Defiance High School in Defiance, Ohio. Okay, there we go.
You sound like crap.
What is a college football stadium / campus that you've never visited before but have always wanted to?
I want to be on LSU's campus for a game day. Put me down there, Death Valley. There's something about that game for me at night when I'm watching LSU play where I'm like, I need to feel that type of energy. So that's on the checklist for me.
Boy, that is a good question. Thank you. You're going to LSU. Where should I go?
What the hell's going on out here?
I don't know. I don't have one for you.
Jeez.
I'm mailing it in.
Okay.
I really don't. I've been to so many. I can't imagine which one I would rather
Sending you
go
to Starkville.
There's
okay,
a flex.
that's you know what? There you go.
Seriously?
Stark Vegas. Yeah, my boy Clay Hall. He's a Mississippi State Bulldog.
All right.
I've not been there. I'd like to go with him.
Deal with those cowbells.
If you missed anything from our show, don't worry. You can always catch up via the podcast wherever you get your podcast. All you got to do is type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting for you. Subscribe to the pod as well. Our podcast is sponsored by Bet365. Timmy Hall in with T-Bone next from 3 to 6.
All right, we'll hit you tomorrow at high noon. Thanks for listening. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, That's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Wolkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around a golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-2845-44. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 6-packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This Mother's Day, be direct. Tell Mom she shines without saying a word. At Diamonds Direct, we've curated a meaningful collection of timeless gifts for every budget, from birthstone rings and stackables to diamond pendants, pearls, and stunning earrings. So here's to Mom for her love, her strength, and always putting others first. This year, she deserves a gift that lasts a lifetime, and that's our specialty. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, 3-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, 2-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to lifesearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit lifesearch.com today.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
The Peace Lily is so last year.
Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air.
Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.